Chapter 1501. Ning Qing didn't bother to beat around the bush and said directly, I heard that Sha Sun, the one I killed before, was the fourth under Holy Buddha Chu Pu. Ancestor Di Hong's mouth twitched. What do you mean by, heard? You said it to Sha Sun several times, yet you still heard it. Now that Ning Qing asked, he didn't dare to answer back. He still pretended to have heard it and replied politely, that's indeed the case. Sha Sun was the fourth under Holy Buddha Chu Pu. He had a very noble status in the Western universe. Oh, is Holy Buddha Chu Pu very powerful? Ning Qing asked casually as he picked up the teacup. Ancestor Di Hong didn't care about Ning Qing's nonchalance and said cautiously, I haven't seen Holy Buddha Chu Pu, but his strength shouldn't be any weaker than Dao Lord Ning. Ning Qing looked at Ancestor Di Hong's expression and knew that the other party didn't really mean what he said. Perhaps in Hong's heart, his cultivation was far inferior to the Buddha Lord of the West. Ning Qing didn't care. He came here to inquire about information. Holy Buddha Chu Pu could fight against 5 elements sacred master and didn't die, which meant that he must be very powerful. He wouldn't believe it if someone said that he was far inferior to the Western Buddha Lord. In the Western universe, Holy Buddha Chu Pu is the master. I heard that 3 of the 9 venerables under him perished during the creation war, leaving only 6 venerables. Wait. Ning Qing raised his hand and interrupted Hong. Dao friend Hong, you said that 3 people died in the Great Creation War. Didn't Holy Buddha Chu Pu participate? Hong replied, when the Great Creation War started, the Buddha Lord indeed didn't participate. It's not that he didn't want to participate, but I heard that he was seriously injured and couldn't participate at all. Who could injure him? Ning Qing had already guessed what was going on, but he still asked. Hong explained with a respectful expression, before the Creation Great War begins, there will be an even more terrifying war. Those who participated in that war were the most powerful powerhouses from countless planes. Among them were 5 elements Sacred Master, Styx River Heavenly Venerate, Light and Darkness Sacred Master, Palace Master Limitless, Daoist Zixiao, and Holy Buddha Chu Pu. Daoist Zixiao also participated in that war. Ning Qing originally wanted to ask if the war started because of the World Tree, but when he heard about purple clouds, he could not help but put aside his original question. Hong nodded and said, I heard that when the battle started, only Daoist Zixiao was watching from the side and didn't intervene. The other experts fought until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Even the planes and universes turned into dust. In that battle, the 5 elements Sacred Lord had been heavily injured, and it was rumored that he had died. Sage Buddha Chu Pu was also heavily injured in that battle and almost died. After all these years, he must have recovered from his injuries. What about Sacred Master Light and Darkness, Palace Master Limitless and Heavenly Venerate Styx River? Ning Qing asked again. Hong shook his head. I'm not too sure either. According to the information passed down by the ancestors of the sorcerer tribe, these people were all severely injured. As for the outcome, I don't know. What is the purpose of this battle? The information Ning Qing got from Shen Yun was not necessarily reliable. Because of this, Ning Qing wanted to confirm it with Hong. Hong didn't answer directly but asked Ning Qing, I wonder if Dao Lord Ning has heard of the Chaos Realm? Ning Qing nodded. I've heard of the Chaos Realm, and I've even been there. Is it related to the Chaos Realm? Yes, it is indeed related to the Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm is the core of the vast universe when it first separated. There are top-notch treasures there. When the vast universe first separated, the Chaos Realm had 4 good fortune treasures. They are the Good Fortune Mysterious Yellow Bead, the Good Fortune Indestructible Axe, the Good Fortune Golden Page and the Good Fortune Green Lotus. Ning Qing interrupted Hong's words again. Dao friend Hong, good fortune is not the 4 treasures, but the 5 treasures. Hong smiled slightly. Good fortune is indeed the 5 treasures, but the Good Fortune Jade Disc already had an owner when the universe first separated. That owner is Daoist Zixiao. This Zixiao has such a great origin. Ji He couldn't help but exclaim. Hong seemed to be afraid that Daoist Zixiao would hear his discussion. He suddenly cupped his fists towards the void and said, "The universe is divided into 5 treasures. Sacred masters run all over the sky. The West has Buddha Lord and Styx River has Xiao Tuesday. If you ask who is the master of the sky, Zixiao is the first." Ning Cheng's expression changed. He had always thought that Daoist Zixiao was one of the owners of the 5 treasures. He was also one of the owners of the 5 treasures, which meant that he was on an equal footing with everyone else. Ning Cheng didn't expect Daoist Zixiao to have such a great origin, even before the universe. Even if it was just a rumor, it was still a bit outrageous. Dao friend Hong, that sacred master shouldn't be referring to the 5 great sacred masters, right? Ning Cheng thought that itinerant Yi Ji and Xianhuang Gaian might not be qualified to be included in this ballot. Hong chuckled. They aren't qualified. This sacred master refers to the 5 elements: sacred master, light and darkness sacred master, and the Western sacred master. Without waiting for Ning Cheng to ask, Hong took the initiative to explain, the West not only has sacred Buddha Chu Pu, but also a sacred master. He is also a powerful person, but there has been no news of him since. Ning Cheng didn't need to ask anything to understand what was going on. The Western sacred master Chu Pu must have been a peerless powerhouse. With such a powerful existence in the West, how could they allow another sacred master to appear? Only one of the 2 could survive. Now that there was only one sacred master left, the outcome had already been decided. Dao friend Hong, please continue to talk about what happened in the Chaos Realm. Ning Cheng could tell that Lai Hong didn't want to talk about the grievances between Western sacred master and Buddhist master. Hong nodded and added, "The most precious treasure in the Chaos Realm is not the 4 treasures of creation, but a tree." Ancestral Emperor, are you talking about the Chaos Tree? Ji He couldn't help but ask. She had heard of the Chaos Tree too. No, this tree is called Builder Wood. Back then, when the 5-element sacred master had obtained the World Tree, even though the 4 treasures of creation had escaped from the chaotic inner realm, he had still focused all his energy on the World Tree. It's just that the World Tree's aura is too powerful. Even with 5-element Divine Lord strength, he wasn't able to completely conceal the World Tree's aura. In the end, many experts were attracted. Did these people fight in the Chaos Inner Realm? Ning Cheng immediately thought of the creation wood nail in the Chaos Inner Realm. Hong sighed and said, "If we were in the Chaos Realm, the Chaos Realm would have been smashed into pieces long ago." The 5-element Divine Emperor knew that the Chaos Realm had an extremely important treasure, so he deliberately stayed away from the Chaos Realm. Although that great battle took place in the Endless Void, it destroyed too many domains and planes. I heard that the 5-element Divine Emperor couldn't defeat the enemy in the end, so he turned the World Tree in his hands into countless World Tree nails to attack the enemy. That's why both sides suffered heavy losses. Ning Cheng secretly nodded. The World Tree nails in the Chaos Inner Realm should have penetrated the Chaos Inner Realm when the 5-element Divine Emperor attacked. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng felt even more shocked. He knew how hard the Chaos Inner Realm was and how powerful its laws were. If not for the good fortune indestructible axe and the cooperation of many experts, the Chaos Inner Realm wouldn't have been able to break through. Yet, the 5-element Divine Lord's World Tree nail could break through the Endless Void and enter the Chaos Inner Realm. How powerful was he? No wonder the World Tree nail wasn't discovered elsewhere. Without the obstruction of the Chaos Inner Realm, the World Tree nail might have already passed through the Endless Void and the universe. Who knew where it would end up? After that battle, the vast universe fell silent. Later on, the 5 great sacred masters and the 10 great Tao lords rose. Hong fell silent after speaking. How many hot-blooded battles had taken place in the vast universe? How many experts had fought over them? However, there was no sign of the witch race. So, the first time the gate of good fortune opened was after the rise of the 5 great sacred masters and the 10 great Tao lords? Ning Qing asked. He finally understood why no supreme-level experts like the Western Buddha Lord had come when the gate of good fortune had opened. Hong replied, yes. Rumor has it that after the 5 treasures of good fortune were gathered, the gate of good fortune would open. The 5-element Divine Lord obtained the World Tree and the other 4 treasures of good fortune escaped. In fact, it means that the gate of good fortune is about to open. Ning Qing cupped his fists toward Zhu Dihong and said, many thanks, Dao friend Hong, for dispelling my doubts. I have one last question to ask. I wonder if Dao friend Hong knows where to enter the Western universe from. How far is it from here? Although he didn't ask Xing Shi to stay, Ning Qing still felt that he had gained a lot this time. The things that Zhu Dihong mentioned were things that he didn't know before. These things held great significance to him. Hong suddenly stood up and bowed to Ning Qing with cupped fists. The Western universe isn't that far from my witch race. My witch race is at the edge of the 5-element universe. If we enter from this edge, with Tao Lord speed, I estimate that we can reach the Western universe in a few decades. After saying this, Hong's expression became even more respectful. Tao Lord Ning, you know that my witch race is weak. The 4th Buddha Lord, Saisen, died in my witch race's divine Magus palace. My witch race can't explain this matter even if we have a lot of mouths. I hope that Tao Lord Ning can explain it to my witch race. Even if you leave behind a crystal ball. Ning Qing sneered in his heart. No wonder Hong was so humble. It turned out that he was afraid of taking responsibility. It would be best if he stayed in the witch race to bear the consequences. However, Hong didn't dare to say this out loud. Therefore, he only dared to ask him to leave behind a crystal ball. Hong probably wanted him to curse the Western Buddha Lord in the crystal ball so that the witch race could get away with the crime of killing Saisen. Hong wasn't a good person. If he hadn't come in time, even if Xing Shi hadn't come, Yu Qing would have been taken away by Saisen. Even if Hong wanted to protect the witch race, he still felt unhappy that Yu Qing had been thrown out to be used as a cultivation vessel. Ning Qing stood up and said indifferently, so to go to the Western universe, we have to pass through here. However, no one has been to the Western universe before. Dao friend Hong, you must have heard about it, right? The void at the edge of the universe isn't even as good as the chaotic void. There's no direction, so I don't think anyone will enter it. When Hong saw Ning Qing stand up and immediately leave, he panicked. He hurriedly stepped forward and said, if the 5-element universe wants to go to the Western universe, they indeed have to pass through our witch race. Not long ago, 2 people passed through the witch race and escaped into the void at the edge of the universe. Oh yes, my witch race has a realm monitoring array. As he spoke, Hong waved his hand and turned into a void screen. Ning Qing sighed. This witch race was really a cultivation genius. He didn't cultivate his spiritual force. How long had it been since he started cultivating his spiritual force? Ancestor Di Hong's spiritual force was also so powerful. Wait. Dao friend Hong, show me the image of the 2 people who escaped again. Ning Qing stared at the void screen and said excitedly. The 2 people who escaped were very blurry, but Ning Qing felt that one of them looked like Tsang Wei. Chapter 1502. The image was replayed once again, this time Ning Qing could see it clearly. He was sure that it was indeed Tsang Wei. Following behind Tsang Wei was a woman, presumably Zhu Yinghua. Although Ning Qing could not see the extent of Tsang Wei's injuries from the images, but through the images, Ning Qing was sure that even if Tsang Wei was not injured, he would not be a match for Zhu Yinghua. Tsang Wei chose to enter the Western universe, not by accident, but because Zhu Yinghua had forced him into a corner and forced him to flee to the Western universe. After understanding this, Ning Qing didn't want to delay any longer. He cupped his fists towards Ancestor Di Hong and said, Dao friend Hong, I'm going to the Western Cosmos now. May I ask if Dao friend Hong has the void positional ball to the Western Cosmos? You want to go to the Western Cosmos? Hong looked at Ning Cheng in shock. Not only did he kill Sha Sun, but he also wanted to go to the Western Cosmos. Did he want to die? Before Ning Cheng escaped, he had intended to give him an excuse to let the Wu tribe get rid of the crime of killing Sha Sun. As long as he humbled himself, then with Ning Cheng's strength, he would definitely not let others take the blame for him killing Sha Sun. Unexpectedly, not only did Ning Cheng not escape, but he also went to the Western Cosmos. This, only after a while did Ancestor Di Hong wake up. He quickly took out a crystal ball and handed it to Ning Cheng. Dao Lord Ning, this is the void positional map to the Western Cosmos. One more thing, if the witch tribe from the Western universe comes to question Sha Sun. Ning Cheng waved his hand, Dao friend Hong, if they come looking for you, just say that I killed Sha Sun. The sorcerer race's monitoring array also had this kind of method. Ning Cheng guessed that the scene of him killing Sha Sun was also recorded by the sorcerer race. However, because his Daoist rhymes were strong, the image was a little blurry. Other than that, the sorcerer tribe wanted him to admit it personally. They were afraid that once the sorcerer tribe revealed his identity, he would seek revenge on the sorcerer tribe in the future. Even if Hong didn't warn him in advance, Ning Cheng wouldn't have come to take revenge on the sorcerer tribe. Since he had killed Sha Sun, he wasn't afraid that the Western Buddhist Lord would come looking for him. Many thanks, Dao Lord Ning. Hong finally felt relieved when he heard Ning Cheng's promise. Ning Cheng spoke to Yu Qing, little Qing, wait for me in the witch clan. I'll be fine. Although Ning Cheng had never met Holy Buddha Chu Pu, he could roughly guess that this Buddha Lord wasn't someone simple. Once they went over, it was very likely that there would be a huge battle. If he wanted to take Yu Qing with him, then he would have to leave Yu Qing in the mysterious yellow bead. Otherwise, he wouldn't be of much help. Yu Qing shook her head and did not speak. No words could express her firmness. Now that she met Ning Cheng again, even if the west faced a mountain of blades or a sea of fire, as long as Ning Cheng went, she would go with him. Looking at Yu Qing's appearance, Ning Cheng knew that it would be useless to try and persuade her again. Since that was the case, then he might as well take Yu Qing with him. Without any hesitation, he grabbed Yu Qing's hand and said, then let's go together. Fellow Daoist Hong, farewell. Saying that, Ning Cheng took a step forward and disappeared with Yu Qing. This person is so strong. Ancestor Di Hong only spoke in a low voice after Ning Cheng's aura completely disappeared. Ancestor Ji looked at Chang Xiang. Chang, since he's such an expert, why didn't you send a message back first? Everyone understood what Ancestor Ji meant. If they sent the message first, the witch tribe would only need to hesitate a little bit before handing over Yu Qing. Then, they would most likely become friends with Ning Cheng. In fact, the sorcerer tribe did not hesitate to hand over Yu Qing. Almost as soon as Xing Shi mentioned Yu Qing, he immediately handed her over. Chang Xiang sighed. I know that he's very powerful and can even repair a realm and build a reincarnation passage. I heard that the mysterious yellow bead is with him and that the mysterious yellow Gaian is not his opponent. Ancestor Di Hong snorted. Since you know that he's so powerful, why are you still hesitating? Chang Xiang said helplessly, after all, I didn't see it with my own eyes. That Dao Lord Ning looks very young. Moreover, I was blocked by Xian Ping on the way to bring Dao Lord Ning to see the Ancestor Emperor, which delayed me for some time. Then, Sacred Lord Green Lotus came and displayed her powerful strength. That made me a little uncertain. Everyone fell silent. They couldn't say that Chang Xiang was wrong. Sacred Lord Green Lotus could crush Sha Sun's strength. If they were in Ning Cheng's shoes, they probably wouldn't help him either. The witch tribe was currently weak. If they weren't careful, they would be annihilated. Big brother, carry me. This speed is too slow. After leaving the witch tribe, Yu Qing, who was beside Ning Cheng, couldn't help but say this. She knew that even though Ning Cheng was carrying her, it still severely limited his speed. Ning Cheng didn't hesitate. It wasn't the first time he carried Yu Qing. Yu Qing, who was lying on Ning Cheng's back, suddenly felt happy. She blew on the back of Ning Cheng's neck and spoke, "Big brother Ning, do you know where we had our first intimate contact? Was it in the Sea of Twilight?" Ning Cheng immediately thought of the scene in the Sea of Twilight. At that time, he had to carry Yu Qing on his back for a few years. "No." Yu Qing whispered in Ning Cheng's ear, "The first time was in that cabinet. Do you remember the room of Orchid Burrow Celestial River's imperial concubine Wang?" Ning Cheng suddenly understood, so that woman was you? At that time, he and Jing Wuming had gone to imperial concubine Xian Yu's room at her invitation. Unexpectedly, Orchid Burrow Celestial River King suddenly came back. Jing Wuming hid under imperial concubine Xian Yu's bed. He didn't want to get under the bed and ended up hiding in the cabinet. At that time, there was a woman in the cabinet. He still remembered that when Orchid Burrow Celestial River King and imperial concubine Xian Yu were intimate, the chest of that woman on his back had turned hard. If not for his concealment cultivation method, he might have been exposed. He had been wondering who that woman was, but he didn't expect it to be Yu Qing. At that time, Yu Qing changed her name to Shen Qinyu and planned to head to the Time Wilderness. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng's heart started to heat up. "I originally planned to team up with you in the Time Wilderness. However, due to a freak combination of factors, I ended up teaming up with Wanderer. I really did not think that Wanderer would turn out to be you. I think that the heavens definitely wanted us to be together." Yu Qing's voice was soft and weak. She could also feel the strangeness in Ning Cheng, "Big brother Ning. What I regret the most is that I did not give myself to you in that loft. If you want, we can now." He raised his hand and grabbed the void crystal ball. Sweeping out with his spiritual consciousness, he directly tore open the void positional plane in front of him and escaped inside. After we find Big Brother Tsang Wei. Tsang Wei was currently being chased by that woman, Zhu Yinghua. Moreover, he did not know what would happen to him. As such, he did not have the time or the mind to do anything else. Yu Qing's voice was almost inaudible. No matter how shy she was, she couldn't stop her love for Wanderer. Because she had enough of that kind of parting, she would rather stay on Ning Cheng's back than let Ning Cheng send her into a worldly weapon. Ning Cheng tore open one positional plane after another, and every step he took, he had to cross several void boundaries or positional plane obstacles. Ancestor Di Hong of the witch race believed that Ning Cheng would need decades to reach the Western universe from the witch race, but that was already an exaggeration. In his opinion, Ning Cheng would need at least 100 or 200 years to reach the Western universe. However, he still underestimated Ning Cheng's strength. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could easily penetrate several positional planes. In just a few months, Ning Cheng tore open a universe's boundary and appeared in a vast universe. Is this the Western universe? Yu Qing, who was behind Ning Cheng, scanned the surrounding space with her spiritual consciousness in amazement. Ning Cheng nodded with affirmation, "This must be the Western universe. The void around here is filled with a heaven and earth law that I have never seen before. I'm sure that Tao Lord Karma has a close relationship with the Western universe." Ning Cheng had seen Tao Lord Karma before and had even felt Tao Lord Karma's attack. "Big brother, are you saying that the Western universe also cultivates the Tao of Karma?" Yu Qing asked. "I don't think so. I guess that Tao Lord Karma's Tao of Karma is a branch of the Western universe's cultivation method." Ning Cheng hesitated before speaking. Ning Cheng wasn't talking nonsense. The Western Buddha master had a great reputation and was definitely not a simple person. Ning Cheng had also seen the Tao of Karma before. With his strength, Tao Lord Karma's Tao of Karma couldn't affect him. If the Western Buddha beads only cultivated the Tao of Karma, how could they have the strength to fight against Sacred Master Five Elements? Let's find someone to ask first. After Ning Qing finished speaking, he tore open another void boundary and landed on a verdant planet with Yuqing. This planet also had a star-protecting grand array, but after Ning Qing stepped into the star-protecting grand array, the array formation didn't react at all. It was because the level of this star-protecting grand array was too low compared to Ning Qing's Tao of array formations. So many monks! Yuqing exclaimed after following Ning Qing to the planet. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness also swept out and found that there were indeed many monks. Almost 80% of the cultivators here were monks and nuns, and a few of them were dressed in strange costumes. Ning Qing and Yuqing dressed normally. It wasn't that there weren't any of them here, but there were very few of them. Let's go to the Shitong Buddhist country in front of us. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness had already swept through the planet. Apart from the various temples and holy nunneries, there were only various Buddhist countries. Among them, the Shitong Buddhist country was the largest. The Shitong Buddhist country's defensive array was even stronger than the planet's defensive array. The four giant words Shitong Buddhist country, wrapped in Tao charm, floated outside the defensive array. The Western universe was so vast that if he wanted to find Song Wei, he couldn't rely on his spiritual consciousness. Chapter 1503. There was no one guarding the entrance to the Shitong Buddhist kingdom's array gate, but there was a huge incense burner with smoke lingering around it. Ning Qing and Yuqing stepped through the array gate and entered the Shitong Buddhist kingdom. They immediately felt a powerful power of hope aura. Ning Qing sighed in his heart. This was truly a good place to cultivate the power of hope. Actually, this is a city. After the two entered the Buddhist kingdom, Yuqing whispered to Ning Qing. Yuqing was right. Rather than calling this place a country, it would be better to call it a city. There were rest stops, merchant houses, and makeshift markets in the city. Ning Qing and Yuqing only glanced at a few merchant houses and understood that the most popular thing here was not medicinal pills, but incense. With Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness, he could easily tell that these were all kinds of incense used for cultivation. Not only did they contain all kinds of precious heavenly treasures, but they also contained the aura of various laws of heaven and earth. In fact, this incense had the same effect as medicinal pills, which only assisted in cultivation. "This Tao friend, please wait a moment." A sudden voice sounded. When Ning Qing saw the person quickly pass him and catch up with a nun in front of him, he understood that this person wasn't calling him. "I thought they would call me Buddhist friend." The longer Yuqing and Ning Qing stayed together, the more carefree she felt. Even her speech had changed a little from before. Ning Qing showed a slight smile. "When they leave the Western universe, they also call me Tao friend." Whether it was Sha Sun or the fat monk, they all addressed each other as Tao friends. Even if they were Buddhist cultivators, they were still a part of the great Tao of heaven and earth. The one who caught up was a well-built monk. The nun who was being chased stopped in her tracks. Ning Qing couldn't help but sigh. This nun was so beautiful. She had a plump chest and a snow-white skin. As if to set off her figure, this nun deliberately wore a slightly tight-fitting robe. "Excuse me, is senior apprentice brother calling me?" The nun stopped and looked at the strong monk with a smile. The strong monk grinned. "Yes, the Shitong Buddhist kingdom is looking for the best woman." Before the strong monk could finish, the beautiful nun spoke up in surprise. "Are they going to select women to participate in this time's Venerable Joy Buddhist banquet?" "So you already know." The strong monk quickly responded. The beautiful nun spoke with a yearning expression. "I've admired Venerable Joy Buddhist banquet for a long time, but I don't know if I have the chance to be selected. If I can get revered Joy's favor, I..." Towards the end, his tone was so agitated that he didn't even know what to say. "You'll always have a chance if you go. Let's go, I'll take you to register." The sturdy monk said immediately. He was obviously very optimistic about this charming nun with a plump chest and buttocks. Ning Cheng finally understood that Venerable Joyous Joy was going to hold a Buddhist banquet, and many women wanted to attend Venerable Joyous Joy's Buddhist banquet. This nun came to Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom to try her luck. She probably hadn't even registered yet, but someone had already taken the initiative to approach her. Yu Qing also understood what was going on. She spat, "None of these Western monks are good." Ning Cheng just smiled and did not speak. This kind of thing was something that both parties were willing to do, there was no such thing as good or bad. It was unknown whether it was because of Yu Qing's spit that attracted the monk's attention, or because of some other reason. The monk turned his head. When he saw Yu Qing standing beside Ning Cheng, his face suddenly showed a pleasantly surprised expression as he gave out an sound. This woman was too beautiful, too perfect. The reason why he didn't notice it before was because the woman's clothes weren't eye-catching. But now that he looked back, he was pleasantly surprised. This nun was not bad, but compared to Yu Qing, it was like the difference between a chicken and a phoenix. This is the registration jade card. You can take it directly to the Great Hall of Desire to register. Seeing this, the monk took out a jade card and stuffed it into the nun's hand. He then quickly took a few steps back and arrived in front of Ning Cheng and Yu Qing before cupping his fists and saying, "Two Dao friends, please take your time." Ning Cheng didn't wait for the monk to speak and raised his hand to stop him. "We have no interest in Venerable Joyous Joy's Buddhist banquet. Please get out of the way." "Wait, this Dao friend, you have such a beautiful face. As long as Venerable Joyous Joy sees you, you will definitely obtain a great opportunity." The monk didn't take Ning Cheng's words to heart. He didn't want to invite Ning Cheng, but Yu Qing. Ning Cheng's face sank. "Get out of the way, otherwise don't blame me for taking action." The monk quickly cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng. "Dao friend, presumably you and this junior apprentice sister are also friends, right? I know what you're thinking. This junior apprentice sister has such a beautiful face that even Sage Buddha Chu Pu might be moved by it. Once Sage Buddha is moved, even Dao friend's future would be limitless." Originally, Ning Cheng planned to kick this monk away. A small Shirtong Buddhist kingdom couldn't do anything to him. However, after hearing Sage Buddha Chu Pu's message, he didn't immediately take action. Seeing Ning Cheng's face turn ugly and not showing any intention of taking action, the monk seized the opportunity and said, "You two should have come to my Shirtong Buddhist kingdom not too long ago, right? Many years ago, a woman appeared in my Western universe and gained the favor of Sage Buddha. Now, she's the #1 person under Sage Buddha. What's that woman's name?" Ning Cheng suddenly asked. The monk cupped his fists towards the Western universe and said with a respectful expression, "She is now my Western universe's sage Venerable Cherry Blossom." Ning Cheng's heart skipped a beat. It really took a lot of effort. He was sure that Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom was Zhu Yinghua, but he didn't expect this woman to curry favor with Sage Buddha Chu Pu. This woman really knew how to run a business, or rather, use her capital to run a business. The men she curried favor with were each stronger than the last. At the same time, he felt deeply worried about Song Wei. Zhu Yinghua had curried favor with Sage Buddha, so it would be strange if Song Wei ended up well. How did Sage Buddha see Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom? Ning Cheng asked again. The robust monk spoke up proudly. "At that time, that woman suddenly came to our Shirtong Buddhist kingdom and happened to meet Venerable Joy, who was passing by. Venerable Joy brought her back, and only then did Sage Buddha see her." "Was she alone?" Ning Cheng quickly asked. "What alone?" The robust monk didn't understand what Ning Cheng wanted to ask. Ning Cheng had to speak up directly. "Did that woman come to the Shirtong Buddhist kingdom alone, or did she come with us?" The robust monk shook his head. "I'm not very clear about this. I only know that this junior apprentice sister's appearance is comparable to Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom. As long as Sage Buddha took a fancy to her, her future would be limitless. It's not impossible for her to become another Sage Venerable." Ning Qing knew that he couldn't get anything out of this monk's mouth. In any case, this monk only spoke about hearsay. Since Venerable Joy brought Zhu Yinghua to Sage Buddha, then the first person he wanted to find was Venerable Joy. Okay, I understand. You can step aside. Ning Qing waved his hand at the robust monk, and a powerful Tao charm aura swept the robust monk aside. The robust monk could only watch Ning Qing and Yu Qing walk past him in silence and didn't dare to chase after them. How could someone give up such a good opportunity to him? As long as that man introduced the woman next to him to Venerable Joy, it would be a great fortune for him. Two friends, if you don't want to be targeted by Venerable Joy, you should leave now. It's best to leave the Western universe. If you hesitate a little longer, with this junior apprentice sister's appearance, I guess it would be difficult for her to leave this place. A cultivator dressed as a wanderer walked past Ning Qing and Yu Qing and spoke up casually. Thank you, elder brother. When Yu Qing fell in love with Ning Qing was a wanderer at that time. Ning Qing suddenly asked, does the Western universe plunder all kinds of women for cultivation? Even Sage Buddha Chu Pu does the same. The wanderer showed a slight smile, of course not. Only Venerable Joy, the second venerable under the Buddha, likes to dual cultivate with women. The seventh venerable under the Buddha, Venerable Ji Zhan, hates those who use women for dual cultivation the most. He believes that true love between a man and a woman is joy, not dual cultivation. The third venerable, Lu Mo, hates evil. As long as he knows about any injustice, he will definitely take care of it to the end. He also hates using women for dual cultivation to increase his cultivation. Didn't I hear that there's also a Venerable Saison? By the way, there's also a fat guy. It was rare for someone to know about the venerables under Sage Buddha Chu Pu, so Ning Qing quickly asked. The wanderer showed a trace of disdain. You're talking about the fourth and sixth venerable, right? Among the 9 venerables under the Sage Buddha, these 2 are the most useless. The 2 of them look for women to learn from Venerable Joy. In fact, they don't have the breadth and ability of Venerable Joy at all. They just show off their beautiful women and then use them as cultivation vessels. I just heard that the Sage Buddha favors a venerable named Cherry Blossom. Have you heard of this Venerable Cherry Blossom? Ning Qing had only casually inquired about the Western Buddha Lord's information. His main purpose was to find out Tsang Wei's whereabouts. The wanderer nodded slightly. I've heard about it. The Buddha Lord favors that Venerable Cherry Blossom, but it's different from Venerable Joy. It should be that Venerable Cherry Blossom truly has a Buddha nature and good perception. That's why the Buddha Lord favors her. Friend, do you know if Venerable Cherry Blossom came here with a few people or just alone? If you want to see that Venerable Joy, what should you do? When the wanderer heard Ning Qing's question, his face turned a little ugly, and he stared at Ning Qing fiercely. If you want to give your friend to Venerable Joy, it's better to go directly to the Great Hall of Desire. You're looking for the wrong person. After saying this, the wanderer glanced behind Ning Qing, sped up his pace, and quickly turned into a fork. Ning Qing understood that this fellow thought that he wanted to send Yu Qing to Venerable Joy to seek advancement. A few powerhouses have arrived. Yu Qing reminded Ning Qing. Even without Yu Qing's reminder, Ning Qing had also seen several people coming over, and the one in the lead had even reached Tao integration. With such a cultivation level, not to mention in front of Ning Qing, it wasn't even enough for Yu Qing. Fellow Taoists, our Lord invites you. The man in the lead walked up to Ning Qing and spoke in a careless tone. He couldn't see through Ning Qing's strength at all. Lead the way. Ning Qing originally wanted to find Venerable Joy by himself, but after thinking about it, he felt that it would be easier to go through the Lord of Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom. Chapter 1504. The man at the Tao integration realm froze slightly when he heard Ning Qing's words. Then, he nodded. Yes, come with me. With your contributions, it won't be difficult for you to reach the second step even if you obtain some opportunities. He understood Ning Cheng's thoughts and felt that Ning Cheng's choice was the best. If Ning Cheng could bring Yu Qing to meet Huan Shi Venerate alone, he would naturally gain Huan Shi Venerate's favor. However, since such an opportunity had appeared in the Shitong Buddhist kingdom, the main credit would not go to Ning Cheng, but to the lord of the Shitong Buddhist kingdom. Ning Cheng's choice not only saved his life but also benefited him. Ning Cheng and Yu Qing were third-step experts, and their Dao runes had already formed their own nomological aura. Even late-stage Dao integration realm experts would find it difficult to see Ning Cheng and Yu Qing's true realm, let alone someone who had just entered the Dao integration realm. In the eyes of the Dao integration realm man, they were first-step experts. Daoist friend, I've long heard of Huan Shi Venerate's name. May I know which star continent he lives in? Ning Cheng asked casually. The Dao integration realm man snorted. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. With your realm, what can you do even if you know? Can you see Huan Shi Venerate? Ning Cheng smiled faintly and didn't speak any nonsense. Even if he wanted to make a move, he had to first find out about Song Wei's movements. Moreover, he couldn't alert the enemy before doing so. If it weren't for Song Wei, Ning Cheng would have already taken out the lord of the Shitong Buddhist kingdom and fought him directly. In just one incense stick worth of time, Ning Cheng and Yu Qing were taken to a gold-plated palace. The Divine Magus Palace was one of the three supreme treasures of the Witch clan, but compared to the palace in the Shitong Buddhist kingdom, it was like a straw shed. The entire palace was wrapped in extremely cold gold, and Buddha statues stood on both sides of the palace. Several thick incense sticks were burning, and a rich Buddhist aura permeated the palace. A man in a Buddhist robe sat at the top of the palace. He had a square face and a golden mask, and the aura of an expert could be seen at a glance. Daoist friends, your cultivation. The man in the Buddhist robe stood up when he saw Ning Cheng and Yu Qing. Unlike the Dao integration realm man, he could tell that Ning Cheng and Yu Qing weren't simple. He was not sure about Ning Cheng's strength, but he knew that Yu Qing was definitely not any weaker than him. Ning Cheng did not expect that a Buddhist country's sovereign would have already stepped into the third step. Even if it was a pseudo-world, it was still not a simple feat. After feeling the formidable strength of Ning Cheng and Yu Qing, the monarch wearing a Buddhist robe realized that Ning Cheng and Yu Qing had not come because they feared him, the monarch, but because of something else. He then walked down, cupped his fists and said, "May I know your names?" Ning Cheng also cupped his fists and spoke, "The king can directly address me as Ning Cheng. I passed by Shitong Buddhist kingdom and felt that the Buddhist Tao here is flourishing, so I came to pay a visit." Seeing that Ning Cheng didn't introduce Yu Qing, the king felt even more certain that Ning Cheng's strength was above Yu Qing's. Dao friend Ning is too polite. My Shitong Buddhist kingdom is not eye-catching among the Buddhist kingdoms of the West. To be able to obtain fellow Daoist Ning's favor is truly a joyous matter. If fellow Daoist Ning doesn't mind, then you can just call me Xia. In any place, the strong were respected. If Ning Cheng and Yu Qing truly hadn't taken the second step, then the king of Shitong Buddhist kingdom would at most meet Yu Qing. If Yu Qing truly was a good person, then he would give Ning Cheng some benefits and take Yu Qing away. But now that Ning Cheng's strength was so strong that he couldn't even see through it, how could he dare to mention anything about Yu Qing? Even if Ning Cheng wanted to take Yu Qing to visit revered Joy, it would have nothing to do with him. Since the two Dao friends have come from afar, why don't we go to the guest hall together? I'm sorry for neglecting you here. Xia spoke these words to make friends with Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng smiled, "Many thanks, Dao friend Xia." Ning Cheng naturally wouldn't refuse the invitation of Shitong Buddhist kingdom's king. Xia brought Ning Cheng and Yu Qing to the guest hall and personally accompanied them. Compared to the Shitong Buddhist kingdom's palace, which was built entirely out of supreme mellow metal, this guest hall was truly low-key. It didn't have any Buddhist charm lingering around it, nor did it have any kind of aura of the power of hope. It was just an ordinary place for receiving guests. The guests who come here are all my, Shiya's best friends. After Shiya invited Ning Cheng and Yu Qin to sit down, he took the initiative to fill their cups with spiritual tea. Ning Cheng could tell that this was not the only guest hall of Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom's king. The reason why this king brought him and Yu Qin here was that he truly wanted to make friends with them. From the looks of it, this king couldn't see through his strength and wanted to make friends with him. Ning Cheng didn't refuse this invitation. This was the first time he had contact with Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom's king, and he didn't find this person annoying. What's more, he still had a lot of things to ask this king. Since we can sit here, we are naturally friends. I came to visit the king specifically because I have a few things to ask. Ning Cheng picked up the teacup and took a sip, implying that he wanted to make friends with Shiya. Shiya felt overjoyed and also picked up the teacup and took a sip before saying, "Brother Ning, if you have something to ask, just say it. As long as I can help, I will definitely help." Just as Ning Cheng saw him as someone worth making friends with, he also felt that Ning Cheng was someone worth making friends with. Although he had great strength, he wasn't arrogant. Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom lacked such powerful friends the most. Moreover, Ning Cheng didn't seem to belong to the Buddhist Tao. If he could lead Ning Cheng into the Buddhist Tao, it would be even more joyous. I heard that the Holy Buddha has a new venerable cherry blossom? Ning Cheng asked directly. Shiya subconsciously glanced at Yu Qin and roughly understood Ning Cheng's meaning. Ning Cheng wanted to take this woman directly to see the Holy Buddha and become the next venerable cherry blossom. Indeed, meeting the Holy Buddha directly was much better than meeting Venerable Joy. In Shiya's heart, this woman was even better than Venerable Cherry Blossom. It's just that the Holy Buddha was different from Venerable Joy. Venerable Cherry Blossom didn't become a venerable under the Holy Buddha because of her beauty. Tao friend Ning, Venerable Cherry Blossom was originally from the Five Elements universe. She came to my Western universe for only tens of thousands of years and became a venerable by virtue of her qualifications and her understanding of the Buddhist Tao. Even in my Western universe, there aren't many of them. In the whirling great world, venerables have a higher status than venerables. Ning Cheng understood Shiya's words. That is, Venerable Cherry Blossom didn't just rely on her looks, but also on her qualifications and her understanding of the Buddhist Tao. Ning Cheng was even more satisfied with Shiya's words. This meant that Shiya sincerely wanted to befriend him. Otherwise, he would have definitely said that Yu Qin's beauty would definitely attract the Holy Buddha's attention. At the same time, Ning Cheng also remembered the whirling great world. This place should be the world where Holy Buddha Chu-Pu lived. So that's how it is. Did Venerable Cherry Blossom come to the Western universe alone? This was what Ning Cheng wanted to ask the most. Shiya didn't think too much about it. I heard that Venerable Cherry Blossom came here to kill someone. At that time, Venerable Cherry Blossom chased him to the outside of my Shirtong Buddhist Kingdom and happened to see Venerable Joy passing by. He stopped Venerable Cherry Blossom and persuaded her to put down her butcher knife and become a Buddha. Yu Qin couldn't help but say, I think Venerable Joy took a fancy to that woman and wanted to scheme against her. She didn't believe that a monk who plundered all the women in the world would have such a good heart. Shiya frowned slightly. Venerable Joy's joyous Buddha Tao was a branch of the Buddhist Tao. What did this have to do with schemes? As a woman, who wouldn't want to comprehend the joyous Buddha Tao with Venerable Joy? However, he didn't explain anything and continued, Venerable Cherry Blossom was extremely disdainful at that time and lost to Venerable Joy in a fight. In the end, she was willing to follow Venerable Joy to the whirling great world to cultivate the Buddhist Dharma. After Venerable Cherry Blossom went to the whirling great world, the Holy Buddha took a fancy to her, taught her the great Tao, and became a venerable. Ning Cheng thought that Song Wei had been trapped by Venerable Joy under Zhuanghua's request. Ning Cheng didn't expect Song Wei to be saved by Venerable Joy. Since Venerable Joy could stop Zhuanghua, he must be very strong. Tao friend Shiya, how is the person Venerable Cherry Blossom was chasing? Ning Qing knew that once he asked about Song Wei's whereabouts, Xia would definitely suspect him, but he had to ask. Are the two Dao friends of that person? Sure enough, as soon as Ning Qing asked, West Asia asked with suspicion. Chapter 1505. Ning Qing simply said, Dao friend West Asia is not lying. The person being chased by Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom is most likely my friend, so I came here specifically to ask about it. Hearing that Ning Qing did not intend to curry favor with revered Joy or the sacred Buddha, West Asia felt a flash of disappointment. In other words, Ning Qing would have to leave sooner or later. Since Ning Qing would have to leave sooner or later, even if he made friends with Ning Qing, it would not be of much help to him. Fortunately, he quickly realized that this matter had nothing to do with his Shirtong Buddhist kingdom. There was no need for him to be the villain. Regardless of whether Ning Qing chose to leave or not, it was always better to have an expert as a friend rather than an opponent. Even if he reported Ning Qing's matter to Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom, it would not bring him any benefits. Furthermore, with his status, it would be very difficult for him to meet Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom. I do know about this. West Asia sighed, I suggest that Dao friend Ning should not ask about this matter, because this matter is being handled by the Holy Buddha. The Holy Buddha intervened in this matter? Ning Qing asked in confusion. According to West Asia's words, the sacred Buddha should not care about such a trivial matter. Even if Zhu Yinghua became a holy sage and asked the sacred Buddha for help, Song Wei would have already left. West Asia also understood Ning Qing's confusion and explained to Ning Qing, after Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom was stopped by Venerable Joy's people, the person chased by Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom managed to escape. What he shouldn't have done was take out a golden talisman. He probably wanted to use the golden talisman to tear open the Western universe's cosmic surface and escape Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom's pursuit. So what? Ning Qing asked in a puzzled manner. It was obvious that Song Wei was being chased by Zhu Yinghua, coupled with his severe injuries, he was unable to bring out the heaven-opening talisman. Once Zhu Yinghua was stopped, he would have the time to use the heaven-opening talisman to escape from this universe. If it were him, he would do the same. West Asia shook his head, fellow Taoist Ning, this is the Western universe. The Western universe was the most perfect universe out of all the universes. Its Tao rune laws were complete and flawless. It was a paradise for cultivators and a holy land for Buddhists. The golden talisman used by that escaping cultivator was no small matter. It could actually tear apart the Western cosmos' cosmic plane. How could the Buddhist Lord tolerate such a thing? When he took out the golden talisman, he was suppressed by Lord Buddha. Ning Qing clenched his fists. He never expected that sacred Buddha Chu Pu would suppress Song Wei in the end. Dao friend West Asia, how could sage Buddha Chu Pu happen to see him escape with the help of the golden talisman? Ning Qing asked with some reluctance. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Song Wei had just brought out the heaven-opening talisman, and then was discovered by Lord Buddha. West Asia smiled faintly, Dao friend naturally doesn't know about the Buddhist Lord's supreme abilities. As long as it's in this part of the universe, it would be under the control of the Buddhist Lord. Your friend wants to tear this universe apart. How can he escape the eyes of the Buddha Lord? The Buddha Lord suppressed your friend with a flip of his hand. Ning Qing was horrified in his heart, what kind of realm was this? Controlling every movement in the universe? Although he had successfully merged his realms and fused with the primordial Tao runes to form his own nomological world, he was still unable to do it to such an extent. If sage Buddha Chu Pu was really that powerful, then he would definitely not be a match for him. Seeing Ning Cheng's ugly expression, West Asia comforted him, Dao friend Ning, you don't have to worry. You can ask revered Joy to plead with Buddha Master. It would be like killing two birds with one stone. The Buddha Master is benevolent and will definitely let your friend go. If the Buddha Master wanted to kill your friend, he wouldn't have used such means to suppress her. How could Ning Cheng not understand West Asia's meaning? That is, he wanted him to recommend Yu Qing to revered Joy, and then ask revered Joy to plead for him. However, West Asia didn't have any malicious intentions. In his opinion, Yu Qing would have a better future if she followed revered Joy. This was killing two birds with one stone. This was entirely due to the huge difference in morality and worldview between the two. Otherwise, Ning Cheng would have already turned around and left. Dao friend West Asia, do you know where my friend is being suppressed by the Buddha Lord? Also, did the Buddha Lord take away my friend's golden talisman? Ning Cheng didn't directly answer West Asia's question but continued to ask. West Asia replied, I know that your friend is being suppressed under the whirling world's 9 ruins heavenly symbols. As for the golden talisman, I don't know about it. Ning Cheng sighed and said with some helplessness, in that case, we'll be taking our leave. Don't the two Dao friends want to go to revered Joy's great Buddha banquet? West Asia quickly asked when he saw Ning Cheng stand up. He really didn't want a perfect woman like Yu Qing to miss out on such a good opportunity. For him, if revered Joy took a fancy to him, it would be a great opportunity. Ning Cheng hesitated a little and seemed a little moved. West Asia struck the iron while it was hot and said, revered Joy's great Buddha banquet, apart from discussing Buddha, also offers top-grade Buddha fruits and various opportunities. Ning Cheng clapped his hands and said, okay, then I'll participate. By the way, can I ask Dao friend West Asia to give me a void positional ball to go to the whirling world? West Asia laughed, no need, no need. You can come with me when the time comes. Every Buddha banquet, each Buddhist country selects some women with top-grade qualifications to participate. My Shirtong Buddhist country also has to participate. The two Dao friends just have to wait for me here for a month. Ning Cheng showed a slightly apologetic smile, we still plan to go to various places to broaden our horizons. When the time comes, let's meet at revered Joy's great Buddha banquet. Ning Cheng said this not because he couldn't wait for a month, but because he didn't want to implicate West Asia. He didn't want to go to the whirling world to participate in revered Joy's great Buddha banquet, but to save Tsang Wei. Once he got too close to West Asia and caused trouble in the whirling world in the future, it wouldn't be good for West Asia. Alright. West Asia took out a positional ball without hesitation and handed it to Ning Cheng. At the same time, he also took out a Buddhist scripture and handed it to Ning Cheng, Dao friend Ning, this Buddhist scripture is for you. Ning Cheng thanked West Asia and left the Shirtong Buddhist country with Yu Qing. He didn't ask West Asia about the 9 ruins heaven symbols. Since he knew about the 9 ruins heaven symbols, it would be the same if he asked someone else about it. Ning Cheng naturally understood why West Asia gave him a Buddhist scripture. These people wanted everyone to cultivate Buddhism and become disciples of Buddhist cultivators. Big brother, that Buddha master is so powerful. Does he know that we came to the Western universe? After leaving the Shirtong Buddhist country, Yu Qing asked with some worry. Ning Cheng had been thinking about this since he heard West Asia say that sage Buddha Chu Pu suppressed Tsang Wei for no reason. Sage Buddha Chu Pu knew that Tsang Wei had come here and even wanted to use the heaven-opening talisman to tear open the surface of the universe. It definitely wasn't because his spiritual consciousness could sweep through the entire Western universe. After all, no matter how powerful a cultivator was, they couldn't release their spiritual consciousness all the time. Unless this Western universe was Sage Buddha Chu Pu's world, just like his mysterious yellow bead had its own world of laws. Even if there was even the slightest movement inside, he would know it clearly. However, Ning Cheng quickly put aside this idea. If the Western universe was Sage Buddha Chu Pu's world, then Sage Buddha Chu Pu should have known about it the moment he came here. As long as Sage Buddha Chu Pu knew about his arrival, he would have sensed it. In fact, he hadn't sensed it yet. We don't have to worry. I'm sure that the Western universe isn't Sage Buddha Chu Pu's world. He doesn't know that we're here yet. Only by tearing the positional planes here would he be able to sense it. After thinking about it over and over again, Ning Qing determined that Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't know that he had come here, at least not yet. Then are we going to the whirling great world now? Yu Qing asked. Ning Qing replied, yes, we're going to the whirling great world now. Once a battle breaks out, I will immediately send you into my mysterious yellow bead. Yu Qing nodded. In fact, as long as it wasn't a powerhouse like Sage Buddha Chu Pu, she believed that it wouldn't drag Ning Qing down too much. Ning Qing brought Yu Qing all the way to the whirling great world. He tried to minimize the action of tearing positional planes. Even if he tore through the void, he only tore through some boundaries. The boundaries of a universe could be torn apart at any time, and no one would pay attention to it. Once he tore open a positional plane or a universe, it would most likely attract Sage Buddha Chu Pu's attention. Ning Qing also tried to use various teleportation arrays whenever possible. More than half a month later, Ning Qing and Yu Qing arrived at the periphery of the whirling great world. After asking around along the way, he also came to know what the 9 ruins heaven symbol was. The 9 ruins heaven symbol was one of Sage Buddha Chu Pu's magic treasures. The 9 ruins heaven symbol had always been placed outside the whirling great world's pure paradise heaven, and Sage Buddha Chu Pu never put it away. This half of the symbol had suppressed many powerhouses. Every time the 9 ruins heaven symbol wanted to suppress someone, the person suppressed in front would disappear. The pure paradise heaven was where the Buddha Lord discussed Buddhism. The Buddha Lord's 9 Supremes and Sage Venerable Cherry Blossoms cave residences were also in the pure paradise heaven. Little Qing, you enter the mysterious yellow bead. I'll find a way to go to the whirling great world. Ning Qing was worried that Sage Buddha Chu Pu was too strong and he wasn't his opponent. Therefore, he wanted Yu Qing to enter the mysterious yellow bead first. Before Yu Qing could respond, Sanskrit chants rang out, and a huge Buddhist chariot landed beside Ning Qing. Then, an itinerant monk came down from the huge Buddhist chariot. This itinerant monk was dressed like an ascetic monk, and his robes looked very tattered. However, the Buddhist chariot he rode was a top-grade treasure. Ning Qing could feel the luxurious aura coming from it from the outside. In addition, his cultivation seemed to be no lower than Sha Sun, whom Ning Qing had killed. Are the 2 Tao friends here to participate in Venerable Joyful Joy's Buddhist banquet? Although the itinerant monk spoke, his eyes fell on Yu Qing. Apparently, he was attracted by Yu Qing's peerless beauty. It was rare to see someone with this kind of appearance and this kind of cultivation. In his opinion, since Ning Qing brought such a stunning woman like Yu Qing to the whirling great world, he must have come to participate in Venerable Joyful Joy's Buddhist banquet. Ning Qing cupped his fists and said, I heard that Venerable Joyful Joy is holding a Buddhist banquet, so I came with a friend. Since it's my first time participating in Venerable Joyful Joy's Buddhist banquet, I found that there was no one here to guide me. I didn't know how to enter for a while. The itinerant monk laughed, the 2 of you must have just arrived in the West. Don't worry, come with me. Chapter 1506. Although he was speaking, his eyes were fixed on Yu Qing. Apparently, he was much more interested in Yu Qing compared to Ning Qing. West Asia's cultivation was too weak, which was why he feared Ning Qing. His strength was many times stronger compared to West Asia. As such, Ning Qing's cultivation was nothing in his eyes. How should I address the 2 of you? The itinerant monk took out a jade talisman. The whirling great world's defense array had already been opened. He made up his mind to take away Yu Qing. He believed that Ning Qing and Yu Qing came here to curry favor with revered joy. His comprehension of the joyous joy Tao was not weaker than joyous joy venerable. The only weakness was that his status was not as high as joyous joy venerable. Ning Qing's attention had always been on the whirling great world's defensive array. If he wasn't afraid of disturbing Sage Buddha Chu Pu, this defensive array wouldn't be able to stop him. Now that the defense array was opened, he directly held on to Yu Qing's waist and stepped in. As soon as he entered the whirling grand world, Ning Qing felt the condensed and powerful Buddhist Tao laws. Seeing Ning Qing ignore him and enter the defensive array, the Buddha's expression turned ugly. He didn't believe that Ning Qing and Yu Qing were Tao companions. Yu Qing's Tao charm was pure, which meant that she had never experienced the matters between men and women. Ning Qing brought Yu Qing here to make friends with revered Joy. Fellow Taoists, please wait a moment. I'll take you to revered Joy's place. Revered Joy and I, the Buddha, on seeing that Ning Qing and Yu Qing did not have the intention to wait for him, quickly called out. There's no need. We need to pay a visit to Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom first. Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom and I are old friends. Venerable Huanshi's Buddhist feast hasn't started yet. We'll go after it starts. After Ning Qing said this, he disappeared with Yu Qing. The itinerant monk's face turned gloomy. When Ning Qing mentioned Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom, he guessed that Ning Qing and Yu Qing also came from the Five Elements universe. They should have come to hug Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom's thigh. If it was someone else, he would have stopped them long ago. But Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom was too powerful, so he didn't dare to make a move. I thought that the itinerant monk wanted to stop us. Unexpectedly, he didn't chase after us, Yu Qing said doubtfully after the two of them walked far away. Ning Qing chuckled, I guess he's afraid of Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom and the Western universe's dual cultivation method. Dual cultivation and human cauldron were different. Dual cultivation benefited both of them, while human cauldron only benefited one of them. Since this itinerant monk and that revered Joy of Joy were well versed in this, they naturally wouldn't force him. Of course, if he really dares to block my way, I'll turn him into dust. Would the Holy Buddha find out? Yu Qing asked worriedly. Ning Qing also spoke up with some doubts. According to Sacred Buddha Chu Pu's strength, after we entered the whirling grand world, Sacred Buddha should have sensed it. But up until now, there hasn't been any special divine sense sweeping over. According to what West Asia had said about how powerful the Holy Buddha was, he and Yu Qing would definitely notice them after they entered the whirling great world. In fact, up until now, he had not felt anything out of the ordinary. Originally, Ning Qing planned to go to revered Joy's place as long as the Holy Buddha kept an eye on him. He would say that he was here to participate in the Buddhist feast. Now that he did not feel anything unusual, Ning Qing decided to save Tsang Wei first. Regardless of whether there was a problem or not, since Ning Qing had come here, he would not leave empty-handed. Tsang Wei had helped him a lot in the past. Now that Tsang Wei was being suppressed by the Holy Buddha outside the pure paradise heavens, he had to help him. With Ning Qing's speed, it only took an incense stick worth of time before he stopped. It wasn't that he didn't want to continue, but the front was once again blocked by the defensive array. This defensive array only blocked the path of the two, but it did not block the beautiful scenery inside the pure paradise heavens. Is this the pure paradise heavens? Yu Qing exclaimed. In front of them was a stretch of giant peaks vaguely visible between the blue sky and white clouds. Even without entering the defensive array, one could already feel the rich spirit qi. A vague Buddhist voice could be heard, making people feel as if their minds had been cleansed and immersed in it. It was obviously a beautiful scenery, but it also had a vast and majestic aura. All of this made people want to stay and comprehend the great Tao in this place, never wanting to leave again. At the top of the White Cloud Mountains, one could vaguely see a pagoda with a huge golden sphere at the top. It really is a good place. Even if Ning Qing did not cultivate the Buddhist Tao, he had to praise this place for being the best place to cultivate the Buddhist Tao. This Tao friend is right. The pure paradise heavens is the best place to cultivate in the Western universe. However, without a peerless wisdom root and aptitude, it would be difficult to enter the pure paradise heavens to cultivate. The voice belonged to the itinerant monk. Ning Qing and Yu Qing had delayed here for a while, but he had already arrived. This time, he did not stare at Yu Qing but looked at Ning Qing. Ning Cheng cupped his fists. This Tao friend, I and Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom are old friends, so I came to visit you. But how can I enter the pure paradise heavens? The itinerant monk smiled slightly. Those who are fated can enter, but those who are not can only stop here. What would happen if she started cultivating the Buddhist Tao here? Don't think too much about it, unless you want to become the next sacred Venerable Cherry Blossom. Ning Cheng pulled Yu Qing's hand and sobered her up from the beautiful heaven and earth aura and scenery. Yu Qing showed a slight smile. I'm not going to become a sacred venerable. I'll follow you wherever you go. Ning Cheng pointed to the sky. I'm going to the Golden Avenue now. Above him and Yu Qing's head, there was a 10-foot wide Golden Avenue. The Golden Avenue looked like it was paved in the void, extending all the way to a giant tower in the distance. On both sides of the Golden Avenue, there were various Buddha statues, and the fragrance and Sanskrit sounds filled the air. It made people feel a sense of joy and comfort from the bottom of their hearts. At the same time, it also gave people an impulse to worship them. Is that the 9 ruins heaven symbol outside the giant tower? Yu Qing also saw a huge symbol at the end of the Golden Avenue. The symbol only had half of it left, and it was placed outside the giant tower. Looking up from here, it looked like half of the planet was covering the ground. Ning Cheng nodded. That must be the 9 ruins heaven symbol. If what Xia said is true, senior apprentice brother Song Wei should have been suppressed by this symbol. Ning Cheng was very worried that Song Wei had already perished. Although he and Yu Qing could only feel the beautiful scenery and the devout Buddhist Tao, Ning Cheng's cultivation was higher than Yu Qing's. Therefore, he could feel the powerful suppression hidden within. Once there was any resistance, the Buddhist Tao suppression would become even stronger. How could Song Wei not resist when he was suppressed by the 9 ruins heaven symbol? 2 Tao friends, are you here to visit Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom? Just as Ning Cheng and Yu Qing were about to step onto the Golden Avenue, a figure descended from the high paradise's clouds and appeared in front of Ning Cheng and Yu Qing. It was a monk with a delicate and pretty face. He had a smile on his face and a respectful expression, as if he had seen his most precious guest. I'm a boy under Venerable Joy revered. Venerable Ai Jia said that 2 distinguished guests had arrived, and I came to greet them. I didn't expect that both of you were fated to enter the high paradise. The delicate and pretty monk bowed and continued. Ning Cheng also cupped his fists and said, Many thanks, Venerable Joy revered. We are indeed going to see an old friend. The boy spoke up with even more joy, Please follow me. Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom is currently discussing Buddhism with Venerable Joy revered. Even if Ning Cheng wanted to deal with Zhu Yinghua, he had to save Song Wei first. Just as he was about to refuse, 2 powerful spiritual consciousnesses suddenly swept over him. Tao Lord Ning, long time no see. I didn't expect you to miss me so much that you even came to the Western universe. But why did you bring a delicate woman with you? Aren't you afraid that I'll be suspicious? While speaking, a woman in a green robe descended from the depths of the high paradise. Zhu Yinghua. Ning Cheng stared at the woman who suddenly appeared in front of him with a calm expression. Chapter 1507. This woman truly had some capital. Her waist was so slender that it could be grasped with one hand. Her figure was well proportioned, and coupled with her unparalleled charm, how was this a Saint Venerable? Tao friend is indeed an old friend of Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom. The itinerant monk that Ning Cheng had met previously spoke again. Behind him was a venerable with a long face and slender eyes. That venerable then said, Venerable Ai Jia is right. These 2 Tao friends are very intelligent, especially this female benefactor. She's a rare sight. Why don't the 2 of you come to my place and discuss Buddhism and Taoism? Ning Cheng guessed that this venerable should be Venerable Joy. Looking at his Tao rune aura, he was clearly much stronger than Venerable Sha Sun. Venerable Joy, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed this time. Dao Lord Ning didn't come here to participate in your Joy Dao Buddhist banquet. He came here to look for me, Zhu Yinghua said with a smile. She still did not know about the relationship between Ning Cheng and Song Wei. Otherwise, she would have known that Ning Cheng didn't come here for her, but for Song Wei. Venerable Joy suddenly said, so Dao Lord Ning is looking for Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom to comprehend the Joy Dao. Even so, we can also comprehend and discuss the Joy Dao together. Dao Lord Ning, Venerable Joy invited you. Why don't we go and comprehend together? Zhu Yinghua said with a smile. She didn't have the resentment that she had when she wanted to tear Ning Cheng into pieces. Ning Cheng said faintly, Zhu Yinghua, I have no interest in a black ass like you. But with your ability, it's a waste not to be a brothel keeper. You came to the whirling great world from the 7 shrines. It's just that I've either killed or injured a few of your lovers. By the way, aren't you afraid that Qin Mutian will settle the score with you for coming here with Venerable Joy? As soon as Ning Cheng said that, Zhu Yinghua understood what he meant. She was a convergence realm expert, but Ning Cheng had insulted her in such a manner. No matter how patient she was, she couldn't bear it. Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom, this is. Venerable Aga asked in confusion as he sensed Zhu Yinghua's Taoist aura churning and her condensing killing intent. Venerable Ijia, Venerable Joyful Joy, this person came here specifically to deal with me. Venerable Joyful Joy, please step aside. After I deal with this person, I will discuss the Tao with you. Zhu Yinghua wanted to pull Venerable Joyful Joy and Ijia in to prevent Ning Cheng from escaping. She was very clear about Ning Cheng's strength. Although she believed that she did not fear Ning Cheng, it would still be good to have another helper. It was just that Ning Cheng's words were too vicious, which provoked her anger. Venerable Joy frowned slightly. Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom, this is the high paradise heavens. We can't fight here. Ning Cheng also took the initiative to speak up, what Revered Joy said is right. We came here to understand the essence of Western Buddhism and also to pay a visit to Sage Buddha Chu Pu. Please introduce me to the Holy Buddha, Revered Joy. As soon as Ning Cheng said those words, Zhu Yinghua understood Ning Cheng's meaning. He wanted to inquire about the sacred Buddha. Without waiting for Zhu Yinghua to remind Venerable Joy took the initiative to speak up, Tao friends, you came at a bad time. The Holy Buddha is not in the high paradise heavens recently. Ning Cheng felt overjoyed. He did not come here to fight with Sage Buddha Chu Pu. He came here to save Song Wei and kill Zhu Yinghua. As for the fight with Sage Buddha Chu Pu, it would have to wait until the gate of good fortune opened. In that case, I will take a trip to this grand Tao and understand the Western Buddhism. Ning Cheng said. Killing Zhu Yinghua would come after saving Song Wei. Venerable Joy smiled, 2 Tao friends, please. This Buddhist path is a place to wash away the troubles of the mortal world and focus on seeking enlightenment from Buddha. I believe that after the 2 of you walk through this Buddhist path, your understanding of Buddhism will reach a new level. So this golden grand Tao was the Buddhist path. After Ning Cheng cupped his fists towards Venerable Joy, he pulled Yu Qing and stepped onto the Buddhist path. Venerable Joy, I suspect that this person came here not only to find me, but also to save the person suppressed by the Buddha Lord. Seeing Ning Cheng and Yu Qing walk onto the Buddhist path, Zhu Yinghua did not continue to attack Ning Cheng. Her previous anger only lasted for a moment before she calmed down. Exalted Joy smiled. What Exalted Cherry Blossom said makes sense. However, if this fellow Taoist Ning can really walk the path of Buddhism and save someone from the 9 ruins heavenly symbols, then our high paradise heaven will have another Exalted. Zhu Yinghua also smiled but did not speak. She believed that Ning Cheng could walk on the Buddhist path. Venerable Joy said this because he had not seen Ning Cheng's power. The reason why she did not stop him was because she knew that it would be difficult for her to stop Ning Cheng by herself. After Ning Qing dealt with the 9 ruined sky symbols and saved the person, many high paradise heavens venerables, including Venerable Joy, would help her. At that time, no matter how powerful Ning Qing was, he would not be able to walk out of the high paradise heavens. As soon as Ning Qing and Yu Qing stepped onto the Buddhist path, rolling Buddhist chants swept towards them. Following the Buddhist chants were Buddhist Tao auras. On this Buddhist path, there was no need to comprehend at all. All kinds of Buddhist Tao auras would be engraved in one's mind. The powerful Buddhist aura wrapped around Ning Qing and Yu Qing, and a boundless pressure came crashing down. With every step they took, the pressure increased exponentially. After just a few dozen steps, Yu Qing's face turned faintly golden, and her body trembled. "Big brother, I can't hold on any longer. This Buddhist path." If not for her strong desire to leave this place with Ning Qing, Yu Qing would have already sat on the Buddhist path to comprehend the supreme Buddhist aura. As long as she comprehended the Buddhist Tao aura, the boundless crushing force would suddenly weaken. So strong. Ning Qing also praised in his heart. He did not let Yu Qing enter the mysterious yellow bead. Such a place would be extremely beneficial for Yu Qing's cultivation. Similarly, Ning Qing would not waste time on the Buddhist path to resist the Tao aura. When Yu Qing could not hold on any longer, Ning Qing brought out the creation divine spear. Boom boom boom. The creation divine spear's spear intent tore through space, and the continuous Tao aura exploded in the void. The Buddhist laws on the golden Buddhist path broke apart inch by inch, and layers of black holes appeared in the void. It was as if someone had suddenly pulled out a few layers from the middle of a wall, making it clear and distinct. Ning Qing immediately used the spear Tao spirit technique, traceless collapse. Swish, swish, swish. The endless laws on the golden Buddhist path were swept away by the broken void, forming a clattering sound of the Tao aura colliding with the void. Ning Qing, along with Yu Qing, had already crossed through the layers of broken golden Buddhist path. Taking a few steps through the void, they arrived in front of the huge Buddhist pagoda. Behind them, the broken golden Buddhist path continued to collapse. Venerable Joy looked at the layers of broken golden Buddhist path in shock and muttered to himself, "Who the hell is he? How can he tear the golden Buddhist path apart?" Tuchuo Aijia, who stood next to Venerable Joy, was even more shocked. Ning Qing's cultivation was good, but he did not put Ning Qing in his eyes at all. In his opinion, Ning Qing, who cultivated a false world, could not even withstand a single blow. But now, Ning Qing's spear tore through the void of the golden Buddhist path. It was simply heaven-defying. One had to know that the power of the laws on this Buddhist path was almost the same as that of the Western cosmos. At least, he could not tear it apart. Compared to Ning Qing, he felt that the difference was too big. Only Zhu Yinghua sneered. If Ning Qing did not have this ability, then she would have already started a long time ago. Why would she really delay here? Sage Venerable Cherry Blossom, who exactly is he? Joy Venerable took a deep breath, regained his composure, and asked solemnly. Zhu Yinghua calmly replied, "This person's name is Ning Qing, the owner of the good fortune mysterious yellow bead in the 5 elements universe. Their strength is unparalleled. I reckon that apart from the Buddhist Lord, we wouldn't be a match for them in a one-on-one battle. Do you know why he was so polite before? That's because he's afraid that Lord Buddha is in the pure land of bliss. That's why he's tolerating it. No wonder. So this person is one of the 5 great saint lords." Reverend Joy's body was surrounded by Buddhist charms. He then said to Zhu Yinghua seriously, "Sage Reverend Cherry Blossom, let's activate our Buddhist charms together. This person destroyed our Western Buddhist road. We definitely can't let him leave." That was what Zhu Yinghua had been waiting for. She was indeed talented in the Buddhist Tao, but she had no interest in cultivating it. The reason why he chose to stay here, in addition to fearing Ning Qing, was because he wanted to find a big backer. Now that Ning Qing had walked right into the trap, it would be strange if she was polite. Okay, I will definitely do my best. After Zhu Yinghua said this, countless figures emerged from the depths of the white clouds in paradise. After Ning Qing broke the golden light Buddhist road, the experts of paradise sensed it and almost all of them moved out. At this moment, Ning Qing and Yu Qin were already standing in front of the nine-ruined sky symbol. The nine-ruined sky symbol had a majestic aura, and one's spiritual consciousness could not penetrate it at all. There was no way to know if there was anyone sealed inside. Big Brother Ning, how do we open this symbol? Yu Qin knew at a glance that this symbol could not be opened in a short time, and they did not have the time to open it. Not only did the symbol have a majestic aura, but the restrictions around it were also very complicated. Not to mention opening the symbol, even opening the restrictions around it would not be possible in a short time. By the time they opened the restrictions, they would probably be trapped by the experts of paradise. Ning Qing grabbed a handful of array flags and handed them to Yu Qin. Just set up the auxiliary array flags behind the main array flags. As he spoke, several main array flags fell from Ning Qing's hands. Yu Qin only needed to use the auxiliary array flags to stabilize the main array flag. She did not even need to know what kind of grand array Ning Qing arranged. In just a few breaths, Yu Qin understood what kind of grand array Ning Qing arranged. It was a planetary teleportation array. No, this grand array seemed to be much more powerful than a planetary teleportation array. Yu Qin's guess was right. The grand array Ning Qing arranged was based on the planetary teleportation array. With his current strength, even if he didn't arrange a grand array, he could easily take away a planet. What he arranged was a planar teleportation grand array. No matter how powerful this nine-ruined sky symbol was, it would eventually be teleported away under the planar teleportation. It did not matter if he could not open this nine-ruined sky symbol. He could directly move it into his mysterious yellow bead. After leaving this place, he could slowly refine this nine-ruined sky symbol. At this moment, several venerables arrived and simultaneously brought out their weapons to attack Ning Qing and Yu Qin. Ning Qing looked back and cast another traceless sky collapse. Then, regardless of anything else, he continued to arrange the planar teleportation. Roars of Dao rhymes continuously rang out behind Ning Qing. Several powerful Dao lights fell on Ning Qing's back, but Ning Qing's protective domain blocked them. Ka. When Ning Qing put down the last main array flag, the grand array closed, and the void around him trembled. At this moment, a gentle voice sounded, "Dao friend Ning, you just arrived and want to take away my treasures. Isn't it a bit too overbearing? Since you're already here, you might as well listen to some Buddhist scriptures. It would also help to dispel some of your hostility." With this voice, a golden handprint stretched out from the void. The place where the golden handprint passed through, the Buddha road that Ning Qing blasted open automatically repaired itself. Almost in an instant, it returned to its original appearance. Then, the golden handprint grabbed at Ning Qing's back. Chapter 1508. Ka. Ning Qing's protective barrier, which could block several Buddha lights, directly shattered. Almost at the same time that the powerful handprint grabbed Ning Qing's back, Ning Qing's hands brought out a monstrous Dao charm power and sent the nine ruins heaven symbols into the mysterious yellow bead. Bang! The Dao charm around Ning Qing's body shattered under the grasp of the handprint, and the bones in his back cracked. Feeling the chaos in Ning Qing's Dao charm, Yu Qin quickly helped Ning Qing up. Ning Qing wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth and patted Yu Qin's shoulder. "I'm fine, I'll take you to the mysterious yellow bead first." "All right." Yu Qin did not hesitate for even half a moment. Although that handprint had exploded towards Ning Qing, but that powerful oppressive force made it difficult for her to breathe. She was sure that Lord Buddha had arrived. Chu-Pu Saint Buddha had yet to arrive, but the aura emitted from a mere hand sign was already so terrifying. Once the Buddhist Lord arrived, how could she be of any help? You don't have to worry about it. This fellow is indeed very strong, but I am not afraid of him. Ning Cheng comforted Yu Qing, before sending Yu Qing into the mysterious yellow bead. The reason why Ning Cheng wasn't afraid of sacred Buddha Chu Pu was because he knew that even if he wasn't sacred Buddha Chu Pu's opponent, he wouldn't be unable to escape. He wasn't someone that Song Wei and sage Buddha Chu Pu could suppress at will. Don't look at sage Buddha Chu Pu's hand seal injuring him. That's because he didn't fight back at all. Instead, he tried his best to save Song Wei. Welcome, Lord Buddha. Before Buddha Chu Pu even arrived, his palm had already arrived. The people who were originally prepared to besiege Ning City, at this moment, were all chanting in unison. With the arrival of the sacred Buddha, there was no need for them to act against Ning Cheng. In all the universes, no one could escape from the hands of the Holy Buddha. However, some people still felt shocked. Although the Buddhist Lord's handprint was separated by the void, it did not cause any substantial damage to Ning Cheng. It even allowed Ning Cheng to take away the 9 ruins heaven symbols. From this, it could be seen just how powerful Ning Cheng was. But Ning Cheng didn't leave immediately. Instead, as the Tao charm flowed around his body, the injuries disappeared without a trace. Since the Western Holy Buddha had returned, he wouldn't let him leave so easily. Moreover, he also wanted to see how strong the Western Holy Buddha was. Fellow Taoist, you're indeed very capable. You're actually able to remain unscathed under my void palm imprint and even take away my 9 ruins heavenly symbols. A deep and resounding voice followed a muscular man as he landed not far away from Ning City. The man wore a holy crown on his head and looked extremely kind. There was a string of prayer beads in his hand, and it seemed as though there were countless of them. You are Saint Buddha Chu Pu. Just as Ning Cheng asked this question, the majestic Tao charm of the Buddhist Tao laws came crashing down. This kind of law felt as if it wanted to turn his Tao charm and the space around him into nothingness. Instead of retreating, Ning Cheng moved forward. After taking a step forward, the law Tao charm around him blasted out. The explosion of Tao charm Ning Cheng had imagined did not appear. Instead, the Tao charm Ning Cheng blasted out felt as if it had hit a ball of cotton and disappeared without a trace. This person is really strong, Ning Cheng thought in his heart. He hadn't met any powerhouses after merging with the realms. However, Ning Cheng felt sure that even if Qin Mutian came, he could still deal with him. But standing in front of sage Buddha Chu Pu, he actually felt a sense of helplessness. That's right, I am Chu Pu. I've been to the 5 elements cosmos once, and I've heard that there are a few rising stars there. Of course you're not that woman called Xing Shi. Are you Yemo or Ning Cheng? I think you're called Ning Cheng. Sage Buddha Chu Pu's tone was warm and relaxed. It was as though hearing his words, he would naturally relax. Ning Cheng didn't relax at all. If sage Buddha Chu Pu was simple, he wouldn't be able to live freely after killing 5 elements sacred lord. That's right. Ning Cheng's answer was very simple. Then, he just stood there quietly as though waiting for sage Buddha Chu Pu's next words. Sage Buddha Chu Pu smiled, you're not simple to be able to use a formation to take my 9 ruins heaven symbol into the abstruse yellow bead under my void hand seal. It's just that the evil qi around you is too heavy, and you need the Buddhist Tao to resolve it. How about becoming a saint venerable under me? If sage Buddha Chu Pu said that before Ning Cheng took away the 9 ruins heaven symbol, no one would understand at all. Now that sage Buddha Chu Pu wanted Ning Cheng to become a saint venerable under him, no one would think it was inappropriate. Ning Cheng said calmly. Nothing. Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't feel annoyed at all and said gently, it doesn't matter. You will understand it after you comprehend the Buddhist Tao in the pure paradise heaven for a while. Ning Cheng chuckled, so, sage Buddha wants to force me to stay. Do you think that because I didn't stop you just now, I don't have the qualifications to make you stay? You should know that I only used a void hand seal just now. Before my void hand seal could catch you, I still had to repair the damaged Buddhist road. Of course, it's not bad for you to take away the 9 ruins heaven symbol before my void hand seal could catch you. Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't care at all. Ning Cheng's heart skipped a beat. When he calculated Sage Buddha Chu Pu's strength from Sage Buddha Chu Pu's void hand seal, he didn't consider this point. One had to know that Sage Buddha Chu Pu only managed to catch his protective realm domain after he repaired the damaged Buddhist road. If he didn't repair the Buddhist road and directly grabbed his protective realm domain, what would happen? But this thought only flashed through Ning Cheng's mind. Then, Ning Cheng's will became firm again. Even if Sage Buddha Chu Pu was stronger than him, so what? When he reached Tao unification, he had fought against Xing Shi. When he was in the creation realm, he had fought against Qin Mutian. But today, he, Ning Cheng, was still alive and well. The good fortune divine spear in Ning Cheng's hand erupted with spear intent and merged with the protective realm Tao charm aura around him. The spatial aura around him grew even stronger. I have one thing to ask Sage Buddha. My friend still has an opening heaven talisman. I don't know if you have this talisman. Ning Cheng knew the importance of the opening heaven talisman to Tsang Wei. Similarly, if it weren't for Tsang Wei's opening heaven talisman, he wouldn't have been able to return to earth and take away Rulan. Sage Buddha Chu Pu showed a slight smile. I never covet other people's things. This opening heaven talisman is not fated with me, so I naturally won't take it away. Ning Cheng secretly admired Sage Buddha Chu Pu. Although he and Sage Buddha Chu Pu stood on different sides, Sage Buddha Chu Pu's bearing wasn't something ordinary people could compare to. As for Sage Buddha Chu Pu's words, Ning Cheng never doubted it. Such a powerhouse wouldn't lie about such things. Ning Cheng glanced at Zhu Yinghua and pointed the good fortune divine spear at her. In that case, let me experience the Western universe's Sage Buddha's Buddhist Tao spirit technique. If he didn't defeat Sage Buddha Chu Pu today, it would be impossible for him to find trouble with Zhu Yinghua. With Sage Buddha's power, it would be difficult for him to defeat him easily. In any case, today's battle was inevitable. Apart from Qin Mutian, this Western universe's Sage Buddha might be the strongest opponent he had ever met. Sage Buddha Chu Pu nodded and slowly stepped forward in the void. He said calmly, "If there's a flower in the void, I'll pick it up." Then, with the Buddha beads hanging on one hand, he raised the 2 fingers of his other hand into the void. Ning Cheng stood in the middle of these 2 fingers and felt the laws around him dissipate crazily. It didn't shatter, nor was it squeezed away. Instead, it naturally disappeared. At this moment, only 2 fingers appeared in this space. He was the only person in this space, and the Tao charm around him had also been crushed into nothingness by these 2 fingers. Perhaps in just a breath, or even half a breath, he would be pinched in the middle of these 2 fingers and turn into nothingness like the dissipating laws of the void. So powerful. Ning Cheng anxiously shouted, "There's no flower, what the hell are you pinching?" As Ning Cheng's voice fell, the space pinched by the 2 fingers seemed to loosen slightly. Ning Cheng's good fortune divine spear had already come out. Time's 3rd stage realm. Rolling time blasted out, just like the Yangtze River flowing backwards. The disappearing law space suddenly gained an aura of the laws of time. However, as time continued to roll, billions of years passed in a blink of an eye. With the presence of laws, a flaw appeared in the void space. Boom! Only at this moment did the Tao charm collide. The Buddha charm exploded, and the Tao charm roared. A bright light appeared in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng rushed out without hesitation, burning his Tao charm before blasting out with a finger. It was the order-breaking finger. Others couldn't blast open the high paradise's laws, but it didn't mean that he couldn't. Ka! A gap appeared, and Ning Cheng's entire body disappeared from the gap. Ning Cheng felt very strange in his heart. In fact, after knocking away Sage Buddha's 2 fingers pinching the flower, he used the order-breaking finger to blast open the High Paradise's protective array domain. He didn't intend to escape from this blasted domain. He intended to wait for Sage Buddha Chu-Pu to block his way, and then teleport to the entrance to escape. In his opinion, it would be extremely easy for Sage Buddha Chu-Pu to block his way. But what puzzled him was that after he blasted out the time's third stage realm, Sage Buddha Chu-Pu seemed to have his acupoint sealed and froze in place. Even after Ning Cheng left for a long time, Sage Buddha Chu-Pu still muttered to himself, "There's no flower, what the hell are you pinching?" He didn't think that Ning Cheng was talking nonsense. If Ning Cheng was talking nonsense, Ning Cheng wouldn't have used his Dao charm to hit the space between his two fingers while he was speaking, causing a flaw in the space between his two fingers. Chapter 1509. I'm going into seclusion to comprehend the Buddhist Tao. 100 years later, I'll discuss Buddhism on the Buddhist path. After Ning Cheng walked for a long time, Sage Buddha Chu-Pu suddenly spoke up. After saying this, his figure faded and soon disappeared without a trace. My Buddha is merciful. After Sage Buddha Chu-Pu disappeared, the Buddha who came with Ning Cheng clasped his palms together and said respectfully. Ning Cheng was indeed powerful, but compared to the Holy Buddha, he was still too far away. The only reason why Ning Cheng could leave the pure paradise heavens was because of the Holy Buddha's mercy. Zhu Yinghua sneered. Ning Cheng and the sacred Buddha had only fought for a short time, but she could see that Ning Cheng wasn't the sacred Buddha's opponent. However, it was unlikely for the Holy Buddha to make Ning Cheng stay. It was precisely because the sage Buddha knew this that he didn't do anything pointless. More importantly, the sacred Buddha comprehended a new realm from Ning Cheng's words. Compared to chasing after Ning Cheng, the sacred Buddha longed for this new realm even more. Therefore, the sacred Buddha chose to go into seclusion. 100 years later, when the sage Buddha came out of seclusion to talk about Buddhism, his realm would definitely increase by another level. In the void outside the whirling grand world, Ning Cheng and Yu Qing sat on the starry sky wheel. Ning Cheng knew that the sacred Buddha did not chase after him, so he simply let Yu Qing come out. I knew that the sacred Buddha would not be able to stop you. Let's not stay in this place, there are monks everywhere in this place. Yu Qing, on seeing that Ning Cheng was not injured, felt particularly happy. Ning Cheng sighed and spoke, "He did not chase me because I said something wrong." "What did you say?" Yu Qing asked curiously. Chu-Pu's divine art is flower pinching with 2 fingers, void space. At that time, I felt a flaw in the Tao runes and said, "There are no flowers to begin with, so why are you picking them?" "It's nothing." Yu Qing was far from reaching sage Buddha Chu-Pu's level and couldn't understand Ning Cheng's words at all. Ning Cheng gave a serious explanation. "A friend once asked me, what is the great Tao? What does it mean to have a great Tao?" I told him that there were 3 stages to the Tao. The first stage was to see a mountain as a mountain, and to see water as water. The second level was to look at the mountain but not the mountain, and to look at the water but not the water. The third level, the mountain is still a mountain, the water is still water. When Yu Qing heard Ning Cheng's words, she seemed to have understood something and immediately asked, "Big brother, you mean that the sacred Buddha was still stuck at the second level, and you reminded him to enter the third level?" Ning Cheng shook his head and said, "In my opinion, sage Buddha Chu-Pu had already stepped into the third stage realm. It's just that he didn't manage to integrate his spirit techniques with the Buddhist Tao. It's probably because he hasn't fought much recently or because he didn't have an opponent. In the end, he only exchanged one move with me and he realized it." Seeing that Yu Qing was still puzzled, Ning Cheng once again spoke up, "I once heard such a sentence, Bodhi originally did not have a tree, a bright mirror also did not have a platform, originally there was not a single thing, where did the dust come from?" Saint Buddha Chu-Pu cultivated the flower-pinching divine art, which allowed him to conjure a flower in the void. In reality, the flower didn't exist at all. This was the realm of seeing a mountain but not a mountain. This was not because Sage Buddha Chu Pu's great Tao was only at the second level, but because there was a gap between his Tao and his divine art. It's a pity that I said something wrong at that time. I actually said, originally there were no flowers. This sentence caused some flaws in Sage Buddha Chu Pu's flower-pinching divine art, allowing me to rush out. However, the reason why Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't chase after me was because he had obtained more things. With Sage Buddha Chu Pu's understanding and perception of the Buddhist Tao, he would only need less than 100 years to perfect the true flower-pinching divine art. At that time, he would no longer be able to pinch flowers, but anything. Ning Qing felt quite depressed in his heart. Although he took away Sage Buddha Chu Pu's 9 ruins heaven symbols, he felt that the gains did not make up for the losses. Sage Buddha Chu Pu was already so powerful, so what if his divine art reached a higher level? Big brother, so what if Sage Buddha Chu Pu is powerful? Doesn't he still want to comprehend the Great Spirit technique from your words? Since you can help him comprehend it, why would you be afraid of this monk? Yu Qing saw Ning Cheng's depression and took the initiative to persuade him. Ning Qing suddenly felt enlightened in his heart. If he could enlighten Sage Buddha Chu Pu with a single sentence, why would he be afraid of Sage Buddha Chu Pu? Qing, you're right. Ning Qing laughed and reached out to hug Yu Qing. The depression in his heart disappeared. Yu Qing was right. His words could help Sage Buddha Chu Pu comprehend a new Buddhist Tao. Why would he fear Chu Pu? Besides, with a powerhouse like Sage Buddha Chu Pu, even if he didn't comprehend it today, he would eventually understand it. Seeing that Ning Qing no longer felt depressed, Yu Qing asked, Big brother, what realm is Sage Buddha Chu Pu in? How could he be so powerful? Ning Qing pondered for a moment before speaking. The Buddhist Tao and Tao rhymes around him are complex. I don't have a deep understanding of the Buddhist Tao, so it's hard for me to see his strength clearly. I guess that he might be half-step into the good fortune realm. If I hadn't heard that one can't enter the good fortune realm if the gate of good fortune doesn't open, I would have suspected that he was already a good fortune realm powerhouse. 100 years later, Sage Buddha Chu Pu would definitely reach a higher level. How could he not fall behind too much in such a short time? Otherwise, when the gate of good fortune opened, how could he have a share? The first time the gate of good fortune opened, Sage Buddha Chu Pu couldn't participate because of heavy injuries. Although Yu Qing comforted Ning Qing, she still felt worried about Ning Qing. Instead, Ning Qing comforted Yu Qing, Sage Buddha Chu Pu isn't much stronger than me. If we met in the 5 elements universe, maybe he would still be the one to escape. The Western universe follows the Buddhist Tao laws. If I fought him in a place like the pure paradise heavens, I wouldn't have the geographical advantage. Moreover, the power of his void handprint wouldn't have increased by much even if he didn't repair the Golden Light Buddha Road. That Golden Light Buddha Road is a condensation of his Tao rhymes. He can restore it with just a stomp of his foot. It doesn't consume any magic power to repair it. I didn't understand it at the time. With the starry sky wheel under Chasing Bull's control, Ning Qing and Yu Qing once again appeared in the mysterious yellow bead. In an empty space in the mysterious yellow bead, the 9 ruins heaven symbols were surrounded by many array flags. It looked like half a planet placed in the middle. Will Big Brother Tsang Wei be inside? Yu Qing felt a little worried. She felt afraid that Ning Qing would be disappointed. Ning Qing shook his head, I don't know. If Tsang Wei isn't inside, then. He didn't continue. If Tsang Wei wasn't inside, then there was a high chance that he had fallen. Ning Qing removed the restrictions around the mysterious yellow bead one by one. Even if Sage Buddha Chu Pu had arranged restrictions around the 9 ruins heaven symbols, it couldn't stop Ning Qing. In just half an hour, Ning Qing removed the restrictions around the 9 ruins heaven symbols. Ning Qing then started refining the 9 ruins heaven symbols. The mysterious yellow bead was Ning Qing's world. Even if Sage Buddha Chu Pu grew stronger, he couldn't interfere with Ning Qing's mysterious yellow bead. In just 3 days, Ning Cheng refined the 9 ruins heaven symbols. Under Ning Cheng's hand techniques, it turned into a half-foot-long golden symbols. The golden symbols were empty. Not to mention Song Wei, there wasn't even a strand of hair. Did West Asia deceive us? Yu Qing immediately suspected that West Asia said that Song Wei was trapped inside the 9 ruins heaven symbols. Although Ning Cheng refined the 9 ruins heaven symbols, there was nothing inside. Ning Cheng shook his head. West Asia wouldn't lie to us. It doesn't mean anything to him. I can feel a trace of senior apprentice brother Song Wei's Dao charm in this 9 ruins heaven symbols, which means that Song Wei was indeed suppressed here. Now that senior apprentice brother Song Wei isn't here, other than being turned into nothingness by the 9 ruins heaven symbols, he must have escaped. Yu Qing looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. If Song Wei had escaped somewhere else, she might have believed it. But where was this place? It was the weapon of Western Buddha Lord Sage Buddha Chu Pu, the 9 ruins heaven symbols. If Song Wei escaped, how could Sage Buddha Chu Pu not know about it? Ning Cheng couldn't be sure, but the possibility of Song Wei dying was the highest. Song Wei also had a chance to escape because he had the heaven-opening talisman. Back then, with his strength, he could have used the heaven-opening talisman's child talisman to tear through positional planes and return to Earth. How strong would Song Wei be after he recovered his strength? With such formidable strength, coupled with the heaven-opening talisman, it was possible for him to escape. Let's go. Let's return to the 5 elements universe first. Ning Cheng left the mysterious yellow bead with Yu Qing. The gate of good fortune was about to open. As long as Song Wei was alright, he would definitely go to the gate of good fortune when it opened. As for now, the most important thing for him was to go back and find ways to improve his strength. It wasn't just for Sage Buddha Chu Pu. There was also Sacred Master 5 Elements, whom everyone thought had fallen. Who had actually seen Sacred Master 5 Elements fall? Apart from Sacred Master 5 Elements, what about Palace Master Limitless, Heavenly Venerate Styx River, Sacred Master Light and Darkness? Not to mention all of them, as long as one of them survived, they would be a huge threat when competing for the gate of good fortune in the future. What's more, there was also a mysterious powerhouse, Taoist Purple Firmament. This person possessed the good fortune jade disc, and his cultivation was even more unfathomable. He had once said, Tao is not Tao, and humans are not humans. How torturous it is to pity us. Ning Cheng still couldn't figure out what it meant. A year later, Ning Cheng and Yu Qing passed through the witch world again. Before Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the witch world, the witch race's ancestor, Di Hong, had already come out with a group of people. Before they arrived, Hong cupped his fists and greeted them from afar. Tao Lord Ning, it's really a blessing for my race to pass by our witch race again. This witch race really has some skills. They must have seen us a long time ago. Yu Qing transmitted her voice to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had long guessed that the witch race had hidden surveillance. It was just that he was focused on his journey, so he didn't notice it. This was also normal. The witch race was weak, so they naturally had to pay attention to people passing through the witch world. I thought that Tao Lord Ning had gone to the Western universe and was looking forward to your return. I didn't expect to see Tao Lord Ning here. As Hong spoke, he arrived in front of Ning Cheng and Yu Qing with his people. Ning Cheng said calmly, I just came back from the Western universe and passed by here. Tao Lord Ning, you've been to the Western universe. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Hong couldn't remain calm. Ning Cheng killed Sha Sun and went to the Western universe. How could he come back safely? Could it be? Hong wondered if Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't know that Ning Cheng had killed the 4th Sha Sun. If he knew, Ning Cheng definitely wouldn't have come back. Ning Cheng seemed to know what Hong was thinking. He waved his hand and said, You're overthinking it. Sage Buddha Chu Pu not only knows that I killed Sha Sun, but he also probably knows that I killed the 6th Sha Sun under him. At that time, I fought with him. In his territory, I really wasn't his opponent. Ning Qing didn't think that Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't know that he had killed the 4th and 6th Sha Sun. It's just that Sage Buddha Chu Pu hadn't had the time to settle accounts with him. Or rather, Sage Buddha Chu Pu didn't have the ability to settle accounts with him. Hong sucked in a breath of cold air. Ning Qing said that he wasn't Sage Buddha Chu Pu's opponent, but his attitude showed that he didn't take Sage Buddha Chu Pu seriously. Moreover, after fighting with Sage Buddha Chu Pu and coming out unscathed, just how strong was he? Since we met again, I have something to ask Dao friend Hong. Ning Qing cupped his fists. Chapter 15:10. Regardless of whether Ning Cheng's claim about fighting with the Western Buddha master was true or not, the ancestral emperor of the Witch clan didn't dare to be rude to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had something to ask, so he quickly said, "Dao Lord Ning, please speak." Back then, many experts besieged the Five Elements Holy Emperor. The Five Elements Holy Emperor was no match for them, and in the end, he used the world wood to transform into world wood nails to force the enemies to retreat. Logically speaking, those builder wood nails shouldn't have disappeared, so why hadn't anyone mentioned it? Don't tell me that the builder wood became useless after it was turned into a nail. When Ning Qing saw Yu Qing, he was so excited that he forgot to ask this question. Hong said with certainty. Of course not. How could a primal chaos treasure like the world tree be useless? Can the building wood nail survive? Ning Qing did not even care about Hong's doubts and eagerly asked. He had tested the builder wood nail in his hand countless times, but it did not have any life aura. He had come this time to ask if the builder wood nail could survive. Hong nodded. According to the inheritance of the Witch tribe, the builder wood nail can indeed survive, but it's no different from not surviving. What do you mean? Ning Qing asked with anticipation. Hong asked again, Dao Lord Ning, do you know the origin of the creation wood? I know. Dao friend also told me last time that the world creation wood is the primal chaos wood. Ning Qing replied. That's right. However, when the primal chaos was removed and the universe was split apart, the world tree suffered tremendous pressure and broke. The remaining parts of the world tree turned into 4 types of trees. They were the world tree, the chaos tree, the tree of life, and the growth ring. Today, I reckon there is not a single one left. Hong sighed. Ning Cheng's heart moved. He did not know about the other trees, but he did have a sapling with tree rings. After experiencing tens of thousands of years in the mysterious yellow bead, the tree ring sapling had already grown into a tall tree. But apart from this remnant, the world tree still has a main trunk. This trunk was the real creation tree. Back then, the 5-element sacred lord had obtained the creation tree trunk. The 5-element divine lord turned the trunk of the creation wood into creation wood nails. Now that countless years have passed, the only way to revive the creation wood is to find the 4 types of trees that the creation wood once broke. Hearing Hong's explanation, Ning Qing politely cupped his fists and asked, I'd like to hear the details. Compared to these races with ancient inheritances, Ning Cheng's knowledge and strength were simply not on a par. Even if he could find all kinds of ancient bamboo slips to study, there were still many things that he didn't know. Hong said, that is grafting. As long as we have the creation wood nails and find the 4 types of trees that were originally broken, we can use grafting to revive the creation wood and allow it to stand tall in the universe again. Dao Lord Ning, do you know why so many other experts joined forces to deal with Divine Master 5 elements? Isn't it because of the world tree? Ning Cheng had already known that so many powerhouses wanted to deal with Sacred Master 5 elements for the sake of the world tree. But now that Hong asked such a question, he felt a little puzzled. Hong shook his head and said, of course it's for the creation wood, but that's not the main reason. In fact, they want to destroy the creation wood. Because of this, many experts chose to retreat after the five-element sacred lord turned the world tree into worldwood nails. Why? In fact, Ning Cheng had always had doubts in his heart. Even if the five elements sacred lord's builder wood nails forced the other powerhouses to leave, but he was also heavily injured. Why didn't Daoist Zixiao, who hadn't made a move, take the opportunity to attack? Besides, fighting for the world tree didn't make it his own, but to destroy it. Wasn't that too unreasonable? Because everyone knows that once the world tree turns into a tree in one's realm and fuses with the realm, no one will be able to resist it. After Sacred Master Five Elements obtained the world tree, he was besieged by many powerhouses before he could turn it into a tree in his realm, Hong explained. Daoist Hong, you mean that those powerhouses were afraid that Sacred Master Five Elements would turn the world tree into a tree in his realm, so they wanted to destroy the world tree? That's right. So when the world tree was destroyed, many powerhouses chose to leave. Because of the characteristics of the world tree, no one is destined to obtain it. Hearing Hong's words, Ning Cheng became even more interested in grafting the world tree. Western Buddha Lord Chu Pu was already very powerful. Now that he had comprehended the flowerless Great Tao, he would definitely become even more powerful. If he could graft the world tree and his strength sword, he would see how arrogant the Western Buddha Lord could be when he met him again. Daoist Hong, if there is the world tree and the branches of the other four kinds of world trees, how can it be grafted? Ning Cheng now had both kinds, so he didn't bother to ask ambiguously. In the five elements universe, his strength already stood at the peak level, so he wasn't afraid of Hong knowing about it. Hong seemed to understand Ning Cheng's thoughts and sighed. Even if someone has one of the branches of the four kinds of world trees in a world tree nail, it can't be grafted. Ning Cheng looked at Hong in doubt. You were the one who said that it could be grafted, and now you're saying that it can't be grafted. Hong explained, although the world tree, the chaos tree, the tree of life, and the tree of life are all treasured trees that can split the heavens and the earth, they can support a planar world. In fact, these four kinds of trees are just branches of the world tree and are far inferior to the world tree. So to graft, one must first undergo nirvana. Hong didn't wait for Ning Cheng to ask again and carefully explained, in fact, there is a legend in the outside world that the world tree was suppressed by the primal chaos and split into five kinds of trees. In addition to the world tree, the chaos tree, the tree of life, and the tree of life, there is also a tree called the nirvana tree. In fact, people don't even know what a nirvana tree is. The so-called nirvana tree refers to the world tree, the chaos tree, the tree of life, and the tree of life after undergoing nirvana. These four kinds of trees can only be grafted with the world tree nail after undergoing nirvana. Tao Lord Ning knows how difficult it is for this tree to undergo nirvana. For example, the world tree, after being destroyed, it turned into countless fragments scattered across the endless universe. Can you make it undergo nirvana? There is also the tree of life and the tree of life. I heard that they need to exhaust their vitality to evolve new sprouts before they can undergo nirvana. How difficult is that? If their vitality is exhausted, how can they evolve new sprouts? Ning Cheng suddenly thought of his tree of life rings. Was that nirvana? Seeing Ning Cheng thinking about it, Hong, in order to make friends with Ning Cheng, took the initiative to speak up. Even if you have the world tree, the chaos tree, the tree of life, and the tree of life after undergoing nirvana, and the world tree nail, you still can't succeed with the world tree. Then why? Ning Cheng was already thinking about how to graft the world tree, but now this old man Hong said that it was impossible. How could he not feel anxious? Hong smiled slightly. In the past, my witch race was also one of the races in the beginning of the primordial chaos. Above the three treasures of my witch race, there is also the foundation of my race. In my witch race, there is a mountain called Mount Wu. In Mount Wu, it is covered in mist and drizzle all year round. If you want the grafted world tree to survive, you need some rootless water from Mount Wu. Mount Wu. Ning Cheng blurted out. Wasn't the rootless water from Mount Wu the same as Mount Wu? Originally, he thought that it was just an idiom. He did not expect that Mount Wu was the foundation of the witch race. Good name. If this wasn't a treasure passed down by my witch race, it would be more appropriate to call it this name. Hong first praised the name Ning Qing said before continuing, if Tao Lord Ning wants it, my witch race can send some rootless water from Mount Wu to Tao Lord Ning. Tao Lord Ning can pick it up from Wushuang. Hong's tone was extremely serious, as if to express how precious the thing he wanted to give Ning Qing was. Ning Qing understood Hong's meaning and said to Hong with cupped fists, Tao friend Hong, regardless of whether I can find the world tree nail or the nirvana tree, the witch race is my friend. Whether it is sacred Lord Green Lotus Xing Shi or sacred Buddha Chu Pu from the Western universe who came to the witch race, I helped them. Why did Hong have such an attitude? Wasn't it because the witch race's foundation was low and they needed his help? Thank you, Tao Lord Ning. Actually, half a year ago, someone came to my witch race to ask for this kind of rain. Hong saw that Ning Qing understood his meaning and was even happier. By saying this, it meant that the witch race did not hide anything from Ning Qing. Oh, who was that? Ning Qing asked. He had the sprouts of the tree rings and the world tree nail, so he urgently needed the rootless water from Mount Wu. Was there someone like him who also had these things? I don't know how strong that Tao friend is, but the witch race's restrictions and obstructions are like a flat road to him. Actually, even if the witch race did not agree, he would have easily taken away the rootless water. Fortunately, this friend was very reasonable. After taking away the rootless water, he left behind extremely generous rewards and promised to help the witch race once. Oh yes, his name is Yemo. Hong was praising him, but only he knew whether he was depressed or not. Ning Qing understood. No wonder he was so strong. He and Yemo had worked together a few times and knew that Yemo's strength was definitely not below his. Oh, does Tao Lord Ning also know that Tao friend Yi? Ancestor Di Hong saw that Ning Qing was not surprised and asked curiously. Ning Qing nodded. That's right, I know him. This person is open and aboveboard and would not take advantage of the witch race. Since he said he would help the witch race once, he would definitely help once. As for the matter of us taking away the rootless water, I hope that Tao friend Hong can help us keep it a secret. Hong said seriously, Tao Lord Ning, don't worry. I will definitely not tell anyone else. 3 days later, Ning Qing and Yu Qing left the witch realm under the escort of the witch race's ancestor Di Hong. There was an additional bottle of rootless water in his realm. He and Yu Qing had personally fetched it from Wu Mountain. Wu Mountain was located in the deepest part of the witch realm and was guarded by countless witch race experts. It was covered in mist and drizzled all year round. Even with Ning Qing's strength, he could feel the benefits of the drizzling rain on Wu Mountain for cultivation. It would be great if that Wu Mountain belonged to the high paradise heavens. If it belonged to the high paradise heavens, we would be able to snatch away their things even if they suppressed Big Brother Tsang Wei. Even though they were far away from the witch world, Yu Qing was still thinking about Wu Mountain. Ning Qing smiled. If Wu Mountain was the foundation of the high paradise sky, we probably wouldn't be able to do anything even if we got close. Do you think the high paradise sky is as strong as the witch race? The difference is like heaven and earth. I'm just worried that we won't be a match for Chu Pu after he comes out of seclusion. Yu Qing was filled with worry when she thought about the Western Buddhist master's strength. Ning Qing said seriously, you're right. If one doesn't think about the future, there will be immediate worries. I plan to enter my realm to graft the creation wood. If there's anything urgent, wake me up. Chapter 15:11. After Ning Qing condensed his own law world, he had never planted any spiritual plants in his world. This was the first time that a nirvana tree with an annual ring was sent into his bounded domain for grafting. Ning Cheng's cultivation had already reached the realm coalescence realm. But because he had just entered the realm coalescence realm, Ning Cheng believed that as his realm coalescence realm improved, his strength would also increase rapidly. If he hadn't fought against sacred Buddha Chu Pu, Ning Cheng would not have been in such a hurry to improve his strength. In the five-element universe, he didn't dare say that he was the strongest, but no one dared to provoke him. After witnessing Holy Buddha Chu Pu's strength, Ning Cheng understood that there was always someone stronger than him. Perhaps if he didn't fight with Sage Buddha Chu Pu in the Western universe, he wouldn't be weaker than Sage Buddha Chu Pu. However, this also showed that he was not as strong as Sage Buddha Chu Pu. Sage Buddha Chu Pu was the Buddha Lord of the Western universe. Sage Buddha Chu Pu was stronger than him in the Western universe. If Sage Buddha Chu Pu was on par with him in other universes, it meant that Sage Buddha Chu Pu was stronger than him. Putting aside the fact that the Gate of Destinies was about to open, there was also a rift between him and the Yetsu Pu Buddha. If he did not increase his strength, he would probably die a horrible death when he faced Sage Buddha Chu Pu in the future. Even if Holy Buddha Chu Pu did not kill him and threw him into the heavens of ultimate bliss and turned him into a Buddhist statue, it would be worse than being killed. Yi Mo probably knew that the world tree could fuse with the realm, so he went to the witch race to ask for the rootless water. At this moment, Ning Cheng's world boundary looked gray. Although Ning Cheng had merged with his world boundary, this world boundary still contained only the laws he had condensed. These law forces were extremely powerful, but it gave Ning Cheng a feeling that something was missing. The Nirvana tree with annual rings was not transparent, and one could vaguely see some of its silhouettes. On the crown of the tree, the leaves were not lush, and the aura of time was extremely faint. Ning Cheng took out the building wood nail, and used his spiritual consciousness to penetrate into the building wood nail, trying to find the building wood nail and the tree ring that had the same aura. However, no matter how hard he tried, there was no resemblance between the tree rings and the builder wood nails. To be precise, the growth rings were like living ancient trees, while the creation wood nail was more like a refined magic treasure. The builder wood nail in his hand was only about 7 inches long, and the incision was in a pentagonal shape. Placing the builder wood nail next to the tree ring made him feel out of place. Ning Cheng sighed, could this nail really be grafted onto the growth rings? If the grafting failed, then his growth rings would be destroyed. The so-called grafting of the creation wood was to cut off the tree ring at an angle, leaving only the first incision of vitality. Then, the creation wood nail had to be shaved off to be grafted with the first incision of vitality on the tree ring. If it failed, the tree ring would lose its vitality and the world tree would not be able to survive. He even lost a builder wood nail magic treasure. The mysterious fairy ancient clan's growth ring tree had already fused with the Grand Essence Realm's restoration. If the growth ring in his hand died due to the grafting, the first person he would have to face would be Clan Head Li Feng. Because if the grafting failed, the growth ring would be completely destroyed. Thinking of Patriarch Li Feng, Ning Cheng suddenly thought of the witch race's ancestor, Di Hong. Comparing the sorcerer race and the mysterious fairy ancient clan, it was unknown which clan was more ancient. Ning Cheng hesitated for a few days before finally deciding to do it. Since he had already made up his mind, Ning Cheng did not have even the slightest bit of hesitation. He raised his palm and turned it into a hand blade, directly cutting off the first entrance to the life force of the annual ring. At the same time that he cut off the growth ring, Ning Cheng unexpectedly felt the whimpering of the growth ring. Ning Cheng sighed. Survival of the fittest, perhaps this was the case. After cutting off the growth ring, Ning Cheng gathered Dao Charm on his palm and cut off a layer of refining marks on the builder wood nail. Then, at the fastest speed, he stuck the cut side of the builder wood nail and the cut side of the annual ring together. Then, he condensed all kinds of Dao Charm laws on it. According to Hong's suggestion, this step was particularly crucial. It was to use one's own Dao Charm laws to nourish the grafted builder wood. According to Hong's speculation, the reason why the five-element Divine Lord hadn't been able to fuse the creation wood into his realm in the shortest time possible was because the five-element Divine Lord's creation wood wasn't grafted, so the Tao rune laws within it couldn't fuse with his realm. The builder wood that was more suitable for fusing with the realm was grafted with the Nirvana tree. The prerequisite condition was that the builder wood had to be nourished with one's own Tao charm laws. Ning Cheng's Tao charm aura permeated into the cut, and the life force that was cut off halfway slowly condensed and fused under Ning Cheng's Tao charm laws. Time passed day by day, and Ning Cheng could clearly feel a faint trace of life force at the place where the builder wood nail and the growth ring came into contact. While Ning Cheng rejoiced, he carefully watered the rootless Mount Wu water under the roots of the grafted builder wood. As the rootless Mount Wu water was watered, the life force of the grafted builder wood became even stronger. A faint sprout emerged from the grafting interface. When this sprout appeared, Ning Cheng's entire person was shocked. At this moment, the dusky realm space had a trace of life force law aura, and Ning Cheng could feel his realm becoming clearer. As the realm became clearer, his Tao charm also became clearer. Various embryonic forms of the realm's laws condensed in his realm. An inexplicable feeling welled up in his heart. His great Tao and spirit technique laws seemed to be growing with the growth of the bud. The idea of a new realm rose in Ning Cheng's mind. Ning Cheng understood that this was how the realm and the builder would fused. Ning Cheng slowly closed his eyes and began to feel all the changes in his realm. Previously, the laws in his realm domain increased according to his cultivation and comprehension. When he comprehended the law of darkness and condensed his own law of darkness, his realm domain had an additional law of darkness that belonged to him. But now, the laws in his realm no longer depended on his own insights. As the builder wood's bud grew, the laws in his realm automatically derived. When his world needed a certain law of heaven and earth, he would receive a message. As long as he thought about it, a new law of heaven and earth would be born in his world. Whether it was the birth of a new law or the growth of the original law, as the builder would continue to grow, his strength and realm continued to rise. The Tao charm around Ning Cheng's body naturally merged with his realm and circulated endlessly in this constantly growing world. At this moment, Ning Cheng immersed himself in it. He cultivated and comprehended as the builder wood grew, and his strength continued to grow with the growth of the builder wood. Time passed, and in a blink of an eye, decades passed. When Ning Cheng opened his eyes again, the builder wood beside him had already grown into a giant tree that was more than 10 feet tall, and its treetop extended to a radius of several dozen feet. In his world, the grafted builder wood took just a dozen years to complete the journey that its growth rings took hundreds of thousands of years to complete. His previously dusky world was now overflowing with vitality and lush greenery. A new feeling welled up in his heart, and Ning Cheng became calm instead. The sharpness around him had long since disappeared, and his whole person had become mellow and simple. He no longer had that sharp and imposing aura. Ning Cheng raised his hand slightly, and a spirit technique's Tao charm appeared. It didn't contain any techniques, nor did it contain any Tao charm. It was as if the spirit technique had existed since ancient times. He just raised his hand and pulled back the veil of the Tao charm that already existed. So this is the third stage. Ning Cheng muttered to himself. He no longer felt any joy. It was as if everything had happened naturally. In the past, he had always thought that his Tao had already reached the third stage. Only today did he understand that his previous third stage was only a subconscious third stage. He had not truly reached the third stage. What a joke. He had always thought that he had given Sage Buddha Chu Pu some pointers. Sage Buddha Chu Pu had indeed received some unintentional pointers from him, but what he comprehended wasn't the subconscious third stage. Instead, it was the same as him now, the real third stage. The mountain was still the mountain, and the water was still the water. At this moment, he felt just like Ning Cheng who had just left Earth. Countless years had passed in between, but all these years had turned into smoke and dissipated at this moment. Ning Qing showed a slight smile. If he stood in the high paradise heaven at this moment, he would have used the same 2 fingers to pinch sage Buddha Chu Pu's flower fingers. With a thought, Ning Qing raised his hand and grabbed the everlasting Blue Thunder City. He then sent a few strands of vitality laws into the Blue Thunder City. The artifact spirit, who had been sleeping since the good fortune indestructible axe's axe intent, woke up easily. The Thunder City's artifact spirit immediately understood what was going on and thanked Ning Qing in surprise. "You've been asleep for too long. Merge with the Blue Thunder City first." Ning Qing smiled. With his current strength, the good fortune Blue Thunder City wouldn't help him much. What made him sigh was the change in strength after grafting the creation wood. Even after merging with the realms, he couldn't restore the Thunder City's artifact spirit. But now, he only needed a few strands of vitality laws. "Big brother, did you come out? Did the tree survive?" Seeing Ning Qing come out, Yu Qing immediately stood up and asked in surprise. Only she knew that Ning Qing had gone into seclusion to graft the creation wood. Ning Qing took Yu Qing's hand and nodded, "It's a success. We don't have to fear that monk anymore." "Hey, you're already at Lead Mountain." "I just arrived. Since you didn't come out of seclusion, I waited here." Yu Qing felt extremely happy. Ning Qing had successfully grafted the creation wood and no longer had to fear sage Buddha Chu Pu. "Let's go to Lead Mountain and have a look." As Ning Qing spoke, his spiritual consciousness penetrated into the huge mountain range that stretched for hundreds of millions of miles. Before going into seclusion, he had told Yu Qing to go to Lead Mountain to look for the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit. The Starry Sky Wheel tore through space and entered Lead Mountain. Yu Qing then stood beside Ning Qing and said, "Big brother Ning, a lot of people have been heading to Jiaoliang Mountain recently. I don't know what's going on." Lead Mountain wasn't far from Jiaoliang Mountain. Yu Qing had been waiting for Ning Qing to come out of seclusion in Lead Mountain. Therefore, she could naturally sense the people entering Jiaoliang Mountain. Ning Qing pondered for a moment before speaking. The first time the Good Fortune Gate opened was near Jiaoliang Mountain. Since the second time the Good Fortune Gate opens is getting closer and closer, it should mean that something has changed in Jiaoliang Mountain. After we collect the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit, we should also go and have a look. Chapter 15:12. The Lead Mountain range actually belonged to an uninhabited domain. The spirit chi in this place was weak, and the laws here were vague. Because of this place generally didn't have any treasures, and no one was willing to open up a cave in this place to cultivate. Plus, the location of the Lead Mountain wasn't very good. Although it was close to the Jiaoliang Mountain, it was only equivalent to a third-step expert like Ning Qing. For ordinary Starry Sky cultivators, the closest place to the Jiaoliang Mountain was the immortal Falling Boat Void City. Mang Yong had told Ning Qing about the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit in the Lead Mountain, so Ning Qing believed that Mang Yong wouldn't speak nonsense. If Mang Yong spoke nonsense, he wouldn't have recognized his Starry Sky Wheel. With Ning Qing and Yu Qing's speed, even the hundreds of millions of miles of the Lead Mountain range would only take them a short distance. In less than half an incense stick worth of time, Ning Qing and Yu Qing landed outside a tumbling magma lake. Moreover, he and Yu Qing didn't rush over. If he were alone, he could even reach this place from outside the Lead Mountain range in just one step. There's a cave here. Who would cultivate here? Yu Qing saw the cave on the edge of the magma lake and exclaimed. Yu Qing focused on Ning Qing along the way and didn't pay attention to her surroundings at all. Ning Qing had already seen the cave on the edge of the magma lake that Mang Yong had mentioned. This cave had a spiritual consciousness shielding array, but he didn't use his spiritual consciousness to break it. Someone is indeed cultivating here, but this magma lake isn't simple. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness swept into the magma lake. The magma lake had a radius of 10,000 feet, and the magma inside was brownish-red in color. It looked like tofu in a pot of boiling oil, constantly tumbling. A scorching hot aura assaulted his face. At the surface of the magma lake, the temperature seemed to be within the normal range of magma, but every 10 feet or so deeper, the temperature would double. Even with Ning Cheng's strength, he couldn't see the bottom of the magma lake. The deeper his spiritual consciousness went, the deeper the obstruction became. When he got close to the bottom of the magma lake, his spiritual consciousness even started to burn, which showed how amazing this magma lake was. Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Yuqing's spiritual consciousness penetrated into the magma lake. She immediately felt that the magma lake was not ordinary. Her spiritual consciousness was much weaker than Ning Cheng's, and the depth of her contact was much shallower. Therefore, when she retracted her spiritual consciousness, she could not clearly see what was at the bottom of the magma lake. "Big brother, given the temperature, will something happen to the artifact spirit?" Yuqing asked worriedly. Ning Cheng also had some doubts, but he did not answer Yuqing's words, as his gaze fell onto the immortal cave not far away. The restrictions on the cave abode were activated, and the person inside was about to come out. "It's been a long time since we last met. Brother Ning's strength has long since surpassed mine." A figure hurriedly walked out of the immortal cave and greeted Ning Cheng with cupped fists. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. "I was wondering who was cultivating here. It turns out to be Dao friend Mang." Mang Yong only had one goal for cultivating here, and that was to wait for him here. Otherwise, cultivating in this place with weak laws and void of God's spiritual energy would be like trying to fish from a tree. Mang Yong's realm had already reached the late-stage Dao integration realm, which showed that his aptitude and opportunities were equally impressive. Ning Cheng remembered that when he and Mang Yong had separated on the Jiaoyang mountain, Mang Yong had only reached the primordial Dao realm. At the same time, this fellow's luck was also extraordinary. Ning Cheng had thought that this fellow had died during the fusion in the Jiaoyang Sea. He had not expected that he would still be alive. "Brother Ning, I've been waiting for you here," Mang Yong said hurriedly. He was secretly shocked when he saw Ning Cheng. He had thought that he had reached the late-stage primordial chaos realm and that Ning Cheng was at most at this level. However, he could not see Ning Cheng's cultivation level at all. Ning Cheng looked like an ordinary person without any abnormalities. Mang Yong would never think that Ning Cheng was an ordinary person. It was not the first time he had dealt with Ning Cheng. He could never see through Ning Cheng's trump cards, which made him feel very afraid of Ning Cheng. It was not realistic that Ning Cheng had reached the third step, but he had most likely reached the perfected Dao integration realm. Ning Cheng nodded. "Dao friend Mang, please speak." His deal with Mang Yong had already ended, but he had not had the time to collect the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit. "I wonder if Brother Ning knows about the mountain gaze?" Mang Yong asked carefully. He guessed that Ning Cheng was stronger than him. Moreover, he had hidden something from Ning Cheng when he had made a deal with him. The Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit was in the magma lake, but one could not enter the magma lake without reaching the perfected Dao integration realm. "I know. The Gate of Fortune opens in front of the Mountain Gaze," said Ning Cheng. He had once befriended Dao Lord Mountain Gaze, but Dao Lord Mountain Gaze's Mountain Gaze was fake. The real Mountain Gaze was the Mountain Gaze after the Jiaoyang mountain. The real Mountain Gaze would only appear when the Gate of Fortune was about to open. Mang Yong said solemnly, "Brother Ning, do you know that the Mountain Gaze has already appeared?" "The Mountain Gaze has appeared?" Ning Cheng was shocked. The appearance of the Mountain Gaze meant that the Gate of Fortune was about to open. It seemed that he had to quickly collect the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit and go back to prepare to snatch the Gate of Fortune. Mang Yong said affirmatively, "The Mountain Gaze has really appeared. Although it's just an outline, it's majestic and breathtaking. The Dao Rune law of heaven and earth is extremely clear. Countless people are rushing to the mountain gaze. Some people want to cultivate closer to the mountain gaze, while others want to obtain some opportunities at the foot of the mountain gaze. How many years has it been since the mountain gaze appeared? Ning Cheng asked hurriedly. Nearly 1,000 years, that's impossible. Ning Cheng interrupted Mang Yong, feeling extremely puzzled. There was no reason for him not to know that the mountain gaze had appeared for 1,000 years. Even if the news could not reach the grand essence realm, he still had some strength in the heavens beyond of heaven and earth. Mang Yong quickly explained, Brother Ning, the mountain gaze was only confirmed in the last 2 or 3 years. It was just an outline before. Countless people want to get close to the mountain gaze, but no matter how fast they are, they can only see the outline of the mountain. They can't walk to the front of the mountain gaze at all. 3 years ago, the outline of the mountain gaze became clearer. Only then did someone confirm that it was the mountain gaze. Then why are you waiting for me here? After knowing that the mountain gaze had appeared, Ning Cheng did not want to stay here any longer. Brother Ning, I've been on the Jiaoliang mountain. In fact, I already knew that the outline was the mountain gaze. I also know that it's difficult to get close to the mountain gaze with my second step strength. Ning Cheng interrupted Mang Yong again. He understood what Mang Yong meant and said faintly, so you plan to use my starry sky wheel to send you to the mountain gaze? Since Mang Yong dared to cooperate with him here, he definitely did not know what he had done in the chaotic void. Otherwise, Mang Yong would not have dared to stay here and wait for him even if he had 10,000 guts. Mang Yong was also a well-informed person. Even if he did not know about the chaotic inner realm, the only possibility was that this guy had not come out of seclusion for a long time, or he had just come out of the Jiaoliang Sea. Mang Yong said very seriously, that's right. Brother Ning, theoretically, it's impossible to reach the mountain gaze. However, I don't think it's because it's impossible, but because it's not fast enough. As long as you have enough speed, you can definitely reach the mountain gaze. As soon as I came out of seclusion, I thought of Brother Ning. Only after Brother Ning's Starry Sky Wheel and the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit merge would you have a real chance to get close to the mountain gaze. Brother Ning also knows that my strength is about to reach the full circle of Tao integration. I'm sure that I can reach the full circle of Tao integration on the way to the mountain gaze. I believe that Brother Ning is already half-step into the third step. With our strength, how many people can stop us in front of the mountain gaze? Ning Cheng laughed in his heart. How long had Mang Yong been in seclusion? The chaotic void had shattered, and many powerhouses had come out. Besides, when the gate of good fortune opened, powerhouses from other places would also come over. 2 Tao integration cultivators wanted to compete in front of the mountain gaze. How strong was their nervous system? So you came here to see if the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit is still there. If it's not there, you will give up. If it's there, you will wait here for me to take the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit, right? Ning Cheng's tone remained calm. Mang Yong quickly said, that's right. Brother Ning, this opportunity is really rare. I'm not interested. I'm going to look for the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit. Taoist Mang, please make way. Ning Cheng refused without hesitation. What kind of joke was this? He was an integration realm expert. Why would he cooperate with someone who hadn't even reached the third step and bring him to the mountain gaze? Besides, what benefits would he get from this cooperation? Brother Ning, don't be in such a hurry to refuse. You know that even if we are half-step into the third step, it's still not enough to compete for the gate of good fortune. I know a secret about the mountain gaze. As long as we can reach this place ahead of time, it's very likely that we can truly reach the third step when the gate of good fortune opens. Mang Yong deliberately paused and looked at Ning Cheng. He wasn't afraid that Ning Cheng would disagree. The gate of good fortune was destined to be a battlefield for third-step experts. If they wanted to gain a foothold in the gate of good fortune, they had to reach the third step. Ning Qing hadn't expected Mang Yong to have such self-awareness. He knew that the Gate of Good Fortune was a place for third-step experts to compete for. Unfortunately, Mang Yong hadn't noticed that Ning Qing had already reached the third step and had even integrated the primordial Dao runes. Moreover, Ning Qing had recently grafted the creation wood, which allowed his strength to rise to a higher level. However, many of the people around him hadn't reached the third step. If he could obtain Mang Yong's secret, he would have more helpers when the Gate of Good Fortune opened in the future. What's the secret? Ning Qing stared at Mang Yong and asked. Mang Yong chuckled, as long as we reach the mountain gaze, I will definitely take Brother Ning there. Ning Qing ignored Mang Yong and said to Yu Qing, I'm going down to look for the starry sky wheel. Do you want to go down with me or stay here and wait for me? Of course, we're going down together. Yu Qing glanced at Mang Yong and thought to herself that he actually wanted to trade with Ning Qing for reaching the third step. Okay, then let's go. While speaking, Ning Qing took Yu Qing's hand and jumped into the magma lake. After Ning Qing jumped into the boiling magma lake, it automatically parted to form a passage. Mang Yong, who remained outside the magma lake, felt a little stunned. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have made a mistake. Was Ning Qing really at Dao integration? Chapter 15-13. If Ning Qing wasn't at Dao integration, it meant that Ning Qing had already reached the third step. But how was that possible? If the third step was so easy to reach, it wouldn't be so hard to find one in 10 million years. He had once misjudged Ning Qing's cultivation. Perhaps today was the second time he had misjudged Ning Qing's cultivation. Mang Yong's expression kept changing. If Ning Qing wasn't at Dao integration but at creation realm, how would he face Ning Qing? Should he continue to call Ning Qing senior? If he had known that Ning Qing had reached the third step, he definitely wouldn't have called him Brother Ning, and would have still called him senior. No, if he had known that Ning Qing had reached the third step, he wouldn't have stayed here to wait for Ning Qing to cooperate. Mang Yong stared at the magma lake, and a feeling rose in his heart that he was always a little bit behind Ning Qing. Laws crisscrossed around Ning Qing, and the rolling magma in the magma lake could only tumble within a few feet of Ning Qing and Yu Qing. It couldn't get close to Ning Qing. Ning Qing's speed of descent was not very fast, but after half an incense stick worth of time, he arrived at a place where his spiritual consciousness couldn't penetrate before. It looked like the bottom of the magma lake, but Ning Qing was sure that this was not the bottom of the lake. There was a rugged place under his feet, as if there were many bubbles floating on the surface of the water. The brown magma constantly trembled, making one's scalp tingle. The surrounding magma was even more violent, but unfortunately, this violence had no effect on Ning Qing. Ning Qing's spiritual consciousness penetrated it again, but he still couldn't see through it. With Yu Qing in his arms, he landed on the lava. The magma was like a steamed bun that had just come out of the steamer, and it was extremely soft. It's strange. This thing looks very soft, but why can't my spiritual consciousness penetrate it? Yu Qing said doubtfully. Ning Qing condensed a handprint and grabbed the magma under his feet. Ning Qing's Dao runes gathered, and the laws turned into the sharpest blade in the universe, which easily cut off the magma. A bright red mist sprayed out, just like blood, with a faint fishy smell. At the same time, incomparably rich spiritual spirit essence qi and clear laws of heaven and earth appeared. It felt as if the magma had covered the area before, but after Ning Qing cut open the magma, it suddenly leaked out. The seemingly endless mass of magma under Ning Qing and Yu Qing's feet felt as if someone had cut off a piece of their flesh, causing them to tremble and even give off a sense of contraction. It's like it's alive. Yu Qing felt the lava lump beneath her feet twitch in pain, and she subconsciously floated in the air. Ning Qing looked at the magma bundle in his hand and nodded. They do have life. If I'm not mistaken, these things should be formed from the fetal membranes left behind when the chaotic universe split apart. Ning City had a piece of universe membrane, so he was somewhat familiar with it. The magma here should be the result of a fetal membrane fusing with the magma lake over a long period of time. You're saying that the fetal membranes fell here and then fused with the magma lake to form this place? Yu Qing asked. Ning Qing showed a slight smile. If that's the case, then it's not a big deal. But someone had fused the fetal membranes and magma here to cultivate and eventually sucked away all the heaven and earth essence chi in the entire lead mountain. When I tear open the bottom of the magma lake formed by the fetal membranes, I'll know who's hiding here. After saying this, Ning Cheng's Dao charm rolled up, and a powerful aura seeped out. With this kind of violent aura, one didn't even need to tear it apart. Just the aura alone could crush all the wills around it. Dao friend, please stop. I've already fused this fetal membrane into my domain. Even if Dao friend breaks open this place, it would only harm others without benefiting yourself. Just when Ning Cheng was about to take action, a sudden voice arrived. Presumably, you're the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit I'm looking for, right? I didn't expect you to hide here and fuse with the fetal membrane. It looks like you've gained some cultivation. Ning Cheng spoke with a sarcastic tone. He had already sensed that the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit was below. Otherwise, he would have directly torn open the fetal membrane at the bottom of the lake. Yes, yes, yes. The Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit quickly responded. Dao friend has the Starry Sky Wheel. I should have come with you and become the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit again. It's just that I've found a new place to reside in, so I can't go with Dao friend for the time being. The Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit's voice arrived, indicating that it didn't want to leave with Ning Cheng. After Ning Cheng realized that the magma fetal membrane had something to do with the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit, he understood that the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit would not leave with him. Even if he had the Starry Sky Wheel, the artifact spirit wouldn't leave with him. For the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit, even if it merged with the Starry Sky Wheel again, it would still be an artifact spirit. But now, the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit had found the fetal membrane and obtained the Tao under this magma lake. As long as its cultivation reached perfection, it could live freely like an ordinary cultivator. Just like the indestructible axe, once it gained its own consciousness, it naturally wouldn't want to recognize another master. Of course, Ning Cheng could also forcibly tear open the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit's parasitic fetal membrane and then refine the artifact spirit to forcibly fuse with the Starry Sky Wheel. However, Ning Cheng couldn't do such a thing. Everyone had their own opportunities, so there was no need to force it. Besides, if the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit didn't want to go with him, it would be the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit's loss. If he stepped into the gate of good fortune in the future, the weapons around him would naturally have a place for themselves. If the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit followed him, the benefits it would obtain would be far greater than staying in this place and fusing with the fetal membrane. Since Mang Yong knew that you were here, then I guess that you did it on purpose, right? Ning Cheng spoke with a sneer. Although the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit didn't want to integrate with the Starry Sky Wheel, this artifact spirit had a big heart and wanted to own the Starry Sky Wheel. Because of this, it deliberately leaked its tracks, luring Mang Yong or someone else to bring the Starry Sky Wheel here to fuse with it. As long as the Starry Sky Wheel was brought with it, it would become the personal belonging of the artifact spirit and would no longer have anything to do with the person who brought it. It's just that the Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit did not expect that it would attract the Starry Sky Wheel. However, the owner of the Starry Sky Wheel was so powerful that it could only look up to it. Even the magma lake could not stop him in the slightest. As long as he wanted to, he could easily crush this artifact spirit to death at any time. Fellow Taoist, I have something to discuss with you. The Starry Sky Wheel's artifact spirit had just spoken half a sentence when Ning Cheng, together with Yu Qin, rushed out of the magma lake's bottom. He didn't bother to listen to this artifact spirit. Since it didn't want to go with the starry sky wheel, then they would part ways without further ado. From now on, the starry sky wheel's artifact spirit would no longer have anything to do with the starry sky wheel. Sensing Ning Cheng's departure, the artifact spirit snorted. It would wait until its cultivation reached perfection before looking for Ning Cheng to settle accounts. That person is gone. Outside the magma lake, Mang Yong's shadow had long since disappeared. Only a jade strip remained suspended in front of Mang Yong's cave. Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed the jade strip, and Mang Yong's image appeared in the jade strip. Brother Ning, this little brother's cultivation speed can never catch up with Brother Ning. Brother Ning is a magnanimous person and doesn't mind this little brother. This little brother also doesn't dare to continue cooperating with Brother Ning. This little brother obtained an ancient cave in the Jiaoliang mountain. The cave mentioned that there is a grand Tao abyss at the foot of the mountain. Only by finding the Tao abyss can I comprehend the supreme Tao in the shortest time and reach the third step. This little brother doesn't know the exact location of the Tao abyss. Please forgive me, Brother Ning. This person is quite interesting. Yu Qing, who had also seen the image left by Mang Yong, said with a smile. Ning Cheng squeezed his hand and the jade strip shattered. Then, he said with a slight smile, this person is a real villain. When we first cooperated, Brother Ning came first and Brother Ning came second. Later, when he discovered that my strength far surpassed his, he immediately became very respectful and changed the way he addressed me. This time, he probably advanced to the late-stage Tao integration realm and thought that he had some capital. He called me Brother Ning and wanted to cooperate with me to use my starry sky wheel. I didn't expect to discover that I was far stronger than him. I'm afraid that he didn't have the face to stay here. Yu Qing smiled. He probably wasn't afraid of losing face, but afraid that you would kill him. Therefore, when he left, he sent the secret of the mountain gaze to me. Ning Cheng didn't care and took Yu Qing's hand. Let's go back to the Grand Essence realm. Call Luofei and Qianghua to go to the mountain gaze together. Since the mountain gaze had appeared and the gate of fortune was about to open, Ning Cheng decided to go to the mountain gaze first. After the appearance of the mountain gaze, the opening time of the creation gate was uncertain. It would be beneficial for him to go earlier. After the opening of the creation gate, it wouldn't be a competition between one person but countless people. This included the universe, planes, realms, planets, sects, races. If Mang Yong hadn't lied to him and there really was a Tao abyss at the foot of the mountain gaze, it would definitely be a good thing for his people. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.